Hey, we're back. I'm Todd Crawford, and I'm with.
Ash Wednesday now.
Yeah, I'm so proud of that. You took the name, and I kind of feel
I
like I
am
kind of
too.
named you to some degree.
I know. I kind of have a little bit to you to thank for that, Todd. So thank you.
Thank
I
you.
even changed my Instagram handle finally.
Oh
So now
wow, it's
everyone kind of
official.
like gets to like, oh, Ash Catcher, Ash Wednesday. Like, how many last names do you want? I was like, as many as the government will allow me.
Speaking of, I have to correct myself. I misnamed myself a moment ago.
Oh
I don't go by
no.
Todd Crawford. I'm Todd Daniel Crawford, and I'm
Oh,
very particular about that because
TBC.
yeah. So, my dad is also Todd Crawford. So it
I
just
think that's just a
causes,
Todd thing. That's cool.
yeah, it changes a ton, like mail. Like when I did like a reading or two in my hometown, there was confusion as to
Hmm.
who it was. So I've just made
Oh,
everything
okay.
in my life Todd Daniel.
That happened to me when I was going on an interview. They're like, "How old are you?" And I like told them my age, and they're like, "Oh, we thought you were like a teenager." And I was like, "Well, what was the last name?" And they're like, "Mix something." And I was like, "Well, thank God I never got with any Irish dudes at my age." I was like,
Yeah.
"Otherwise, it could have been a mix something." Um,
Did you
so
know?
yeah,
I never thought about this before, and I'm Irish, so I'm allowed to talk about this, and
that's
so
all I
are other
like. It
people.
seems to be is Irishman. So I feel you.
You're honorary Irish then,
I'm
but
on Irish by association is what I like to say.
yeah. Um, but Mick, I didn't think about this for years. It's like slander for Irish people because their names all begin
Yeah.
with Mick, and it took me
Hmm.
like decades to be like, oh, that's why we're called Micks.
It's like how all everyone from my Ukrainian Russian descents all have like ski or like Berg.
Oh yeah, that's
It
funny. I
really
never thought
depends.
about that.
But last names are funny like that.
Yeah, so you mentioned being a teenager, and I think that's like a lot of what we were going to discuss in a way. Not being a teenager, but
Yeah, absolutely.
how our generation's kind of circumstantially stunted in the effects of that.
Absolutely. Um, and I don't want to say it was too much time at the mall because I didn't get enough, I think.
Yeah, I don't know about
But
you, but in my
I
areas,
think
the
it
oh,
might have been maybe the fact that I was so unsupervised as a kid.
that's so weird because I have a lot of that as well. I spent, and this is honestly a big reason I think I got into writing and stuff. I would
Hmm.
just spend so long alone in my room or just on long
Yeah.
walks, and it kind of affected me like now where if I worked at retail for a long time.
Did
Um,
you like it?
yeah, I really liked it honestly. All
I
through
love
college.
working retail.
Yeah, I think it's really good
I
for
know people
introverts.
complain about it, but I think it's very good because it's your socialization for like the allotted week basically, and then you're done. You just stay at
That's
home
No, that's exactly how I felt about it.
and binge watch horror movies like I'm about to do.
Yeah, that's my plan for the weekend. I should leave town or do something, but I'm just staying home and just gonna watch horror movies.
Yeah, I mean it's so much cheaper, so why wouldn't you?
Great point. But well, that is the thing too. Is I moved to a small town, and I think we both did. Um,
I actually moved out of Philly, yeah.
and a big part
Probably
of
not
it,
a lot of people know that.
yeah, a big part of it for me is I was like I could save so much money. I could still do all the same stuff that I did living in the city, and
I visit and I still work. Like one of my jobs is still in the city.
oh
Um,
nice.
so I'm doing like my opposite commute that I've been doing for about a year and a half now, which I don't care. It's like for me, it's like 35 minutes at night at like 9 o'clock at night. It's very peaceful. You get like your music going, maybe a little sneaky snack,
I
and
agree.
you just kind of plow right through home. It's so quiet where I live now. It's terrifying, but I'd rather hear nothing than gunshots.
Yeah, no, I'm envious of that. I don't hear gunshots, but it's like the loudest small town ever. I'm woken up at like 2 or 3 in
Hmm.
the morning. There's always like a parade of motorcycles.
My impression of Reading when I visited there briefly, and I saw someone briefly there. And I say briefly because I went to sleep over one night and I shit you not, the windows were open and I was like, hey, I don't think I can actually sleep and I have insomnia. So it was like that bad. It was like between loud
Well,
music and gunshots and things like that. I was like, I turned to the guy, I was like, I don't think this is gonna work out.
that's funny. At least the guy can't blame himself, or there's not that feeling of like,
He got a very nice cheap house in Reading. It was a beautiful 5 5-story like Victorian home that he was like slowly remodeling, but he had this mannequin that
Hmm.
like he dressed up and like personified that creeped me the fuck out. I was relatively young too when this was happening.
That's understandable. Yeah, I found that women don't tend to like the mannequins.
I just saw her as competition. I was like, I'm never going to be that skinny.
That's true.
And he really valued her.
He dressed her up and
He did actually, and they posted pictures together and for like Christmas and like the holidays. I really hope he's not listening to this.
yeah, it's one of those things like contextually, like if you know the guy, it could be like a sitcom character, goofy
You know,
villain.
it seemed
It's
very
quirky.
avant-garde at the time, and now it quickly turns into like there's like a difference between avant-garde and mental illness.
I agree. I don't know. I would even say I don't even know if there is a difference between mental illness and avant-garde at this point. Like with
No, I
art,
think everything's just out there,
yeah,
pre-game.
for me, like writing, like I feel like a heroin addict or a gambling addict. Like I desperately want to stop. I'm angry when I want to write, and I
I feel
can't
that way
stop.
when I do like tarot card readings. Sometimes you get just like kind of channeled into things, and like you get like in like the thought process of everything. It's very fun, which I
Yeah,
found out is apparently illegal in Pennsylvania. So it makes
tarot
me want to do
readings.
it all the more. I think because it classifies under fortune telling, and I just looked this up because I have ADHD and I want to just
Hmm.
binge watch information. But as according to as far as 1861, it's been illegal. And the
Oh,
most recent reenactment of this was 1939 to 1972. The penalties is 1 year in prison, which sounds like a really nice time, 3 square meals a day, or a two
yeah,
hundred and
free rent.
fifty $100 fine.
That's
So
insane.
I'll go with prison at this point,
Yeah,
because maybe maybe I can like save a little money.
I agree. That's the way to go.
I need a break.
It's the
Just
closest we can
somebody
get
come
to a
watch my cat.
vacation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe you could bring your cat.
I have heard of some prison programs where they give good prisoners cats, but
Honestly, I don't have anything
mine's kind of
against that.
scrappy. Like once we get into the yard and everything like that, it's over for everybody. Banner and
Yeah.
I are gonna go toe to toe with every group.
The cat's gonna be on the bench press.
Oh, quite possibly.
But
Definitely selling Lucy's.
yeah, I'm so innocent. I had to remember what Lucy's meant. It's been
I
so
watched way
long.
too much like Prison Break as a kid, or I read Orange is the New Black recently for like summer. It was like a good little summer read that I did.
That's fine. I
So
watched
it was
Prison
like
Break
nothing.
when it
It's
was
good.
on. I remember liking it a lot, and then like there's a point where like they get sent back to the same prison after breaking out, and I was like, okay, this is a little
Yeah.
goofy.
It's a little goofy, but also like I find like shows like that also are kind of goofy. I think a season of American Horror Stories did that where like they had like 6 episodes of like the actual like episodes or whatever, and then they did like 6 episodes of like a reenactment alongside of the actual movie. So they had like the actors impersonating the actors, and it was just like one of those like surrealist like kind of things. I'm like, all right, we actually tried this year, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Because
that's
there were some times
interesting.
where I'm just like, this is getting kind of boring.
Yeah,
But
well,
I during college and everything like that, I was begging all three of the people I roomed with, who were all the same sorority, to watch American Horror Story and give Jersey Shore a break. So that's where I was at. I was like really pushing for American Horror Story, and it was like the early seasons too. It was good shit.
right. That was a thing when I was in college and all my Shakespeare classes. It was like all the theater kids watched American Horror Story. They'd have like it had
Oh,
like a
it's the
Super Bowl
best.
parties, but each week for the show.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I think that's like probably the only reason I watched Game of Thrones too, was like to be with my friends at the time. But
That
now they're
makes
all married with
sense.
kids.
Yeah, that's hitting me
Yeah,
real
and then
hard
or
this
they're like
year.
binge watching it for like the second or third time, and I'm like, stop, please, no.
Those are the two options in life. Have kids.
Any HBO show, in my opinion, has like a really bad ending to it.
There's a few that I mean 6 Feet Under.
Oh, actually, this is unrelated to HBO, I think, but one of my favorite like one-off shows, like I think it was like a season or two, is Pushing Daisies. And I don't know if you've ever watched that show,
I
but it
haven't.
is wacky. This dude can he solves like crimes and things like that just by touching dead people, and they turn alive for like 20 seconds. tell them how he dies. He solves the mystery, and I'm like in quotation marks right here. He solves the mystery, and then gets a reward and everything
Hmm.
like that. And then he like doubles in, or moonlights as like a guy who makes pie at night. Like a very strange thing. If you like Marvel movies and things like that, I think it's the guy who plays oh, why am I blanking? I think it's Ronan. But
I
I'm nerding out right now.
That's fine. I don't even know who Ronan is. I think I've seen like
What?
six or
Have you seen
seven.
any of the Marvel movies?
I've seen 6 or 7 of them. I just kind of picked and chose.
Dude, Ant-Man's my favorite.
I like Ant-Man 1. I haven't seen
We
the others, but I like the
I
first
just
one.
feel like if I met Paul Rudd, first of all, I would address him as such. I just think he's a great guy. He doesn't seem like he's acting though.
Yeah, I think everybody likes Paul Rudd. It'd be
Oh
very
yeah, he seems
strange.
like a very genuine guy.
Yeah, well, he's really paid his dues. I mean, he's been around forever.
He has.
It's weird that now he's like a
I liked him in
superhero
This Is
guy.
40 too.
I didn't see that one. I saw it Knocked Up
Knocked Up, yeah, that's a good
and
one too.
40 Year Old Virgin. I didn't see This Is. I was kind of off the Apatow bandwagon around the time This Is
Mm-hmm.
40 came out.
I can take it or leave him, but I just appreciate a good Jew who can like make someone laugh.
Yeah, I'm a Woody Allen fan, so I understand that.
Oh, there you go. You get it.
Yeah.
He's hands on.
Yeah. I'm not even sure what that means.
Oh, one day.
I keep putting my phone on my desk and it just keeps falling off.
Uh-oh.
I think the apartment I'm in is like built on a hill or something, and
Do
it's
you
just
like your new
sliding.
place?
It's interesting. So I'm living with
Yeah.
other people, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's nice, and honestly, like we were making it work as well as it possibly could,
Mm-hmm.
but the plan was to find a house, and
Oh,
it's kind of a
okay.
temporary arrangement because like the housing and even renting is complete shit.
I
So
know my rent was like more than like some of my friends' mortgages. I was like, how is this possible?
exactly, I think even right now I'm
It's just
still
not
paying
it's
more in
not
rent
feasible.
than my parents pay on their house, and I mean it's working as well as it can, and it is nice,
Hmm.
but it's definitely not a thing of like years or you know what I mean. It's definitely a
It's
temporary
not
arrangement.
sustainable right now because like when I moved out and everything like that, I think for a one bedroom, my apartment was I want to say it was like 1,200 a month, and I thought that was super steep considering what I
Wow.
was getting paid and everything like that.
Yeah.
All literally my entire paycheck just went to rent.
Yeah.
And I had to find this was the first time I ever had to work like multiple jobs kind of thing, and it was like a bit of a culture shock to me. But now, like looking back at it, I think like, oh my God, like close to 15 years or whatever, it's like I don't want to say it's like doubled, but it's almost
That
basically for
is
like a one bedroom and everything. And like
insane.
even then, like when you see stuff advertised for like one or two bedroom apartments, it's like still like 2 grand or whatever. And you're like, yeah, you'll be sharing it with somebody. I'm like, I don't want to share it with somebody. It's like for that price, I want my own damn place.
Yeah, no wonder you want to go to prison. That's
Oh, prison sounds great right now.
yeah. You know, it's the same
Feed me.
situation. It's probably just as big, the jail
I'm
cell and
too
the
tired to
apartment.
cook after working 16-hour days, like 5 days a week.
Yeah, no, burnout is so that really with what with Kiki's delivery service. Speaking like spooky season
Mm-hmm.
shit, like
Yeah.
that the whole movie's just about burnout.
More or less, yeah. I think even the mom or whatever, the pregnant mom who owns the bakery is like burnt out too.
Yeah, which is funny
I
because
definitely
Kiki's
know
is like
Kiki's cat is burned out.
yeah, Kiki's my favorite Ghibli movie because it's just always
Mm-hmm.
pleasant.
I
Like
really like My Neighbor Totoro. Is really
I do
good,
like that
but I
one.
love Kiki just because aesthetically, like that's my vibe.
Exactly, that's the thing. Kiki, like you could just like put it on as like background
Hmm.
noise, or you could watch it.
I
It's just
forget
such a
where I
pleasant
was, but
movie.
I saw a bunch of Ghibli records, like with the soundtracks and things like that, and one
Oh,
of them
that's
was
really cool.
Kiki. Yeah, but they were like $60, and I was like,
Of
I literally
course.
looked at the person, and I was like, you're really taking advantage of this shit right here.
Yeah, and they were CDs.
Yeah, they were not CDs, vinyl, but still, um, the audacity.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, speaking of, like apartments and stuff,
Hmm.
like half my shit's in storage right now.
Oh, that's
And
frustrating.
yeah, that's like the worst part, honestly, is just like not living with your stuff and like,
Yeah. Do
you know,
you
like,
feel like you have less stuff, or do you feel like you're kind of seeing what you can kind of live without real quickly, and you're just like, wow, I'm ready to kind of liquidate everything and like go to like Arizona?
there are certain things like, I love movies and books and stuff, so I have a lot of
Hmm.
those. And for
I have a lot of
decades,
books, and I felt bad asking my friend to move them.
yeah, that's the worst part about movies and books. And like, I wish I utilized a library more. Um,
Hmm.
Movies are one thing, but yeah, books. And honestly, as often as I reread books, I don't need to own
I'm
most of them.
guilty. I love movies, but I still have DVDs.
Yeah, and well,
I don't see the reason to get rid of them.
it's that's the thing, and it's validated now with streaming where they're editing shows and movies.
They're editing or like they're knocking things off like way too soon or like doing like weird stuff with it or they're like, "Oh, I only want this version of it," is because it's like I felt that way about was it Eyes Wide Shut? I got the one with like 20 extra like minutes of like footage or something like that. Like I'm not gonna find that anywhere
Exactly.
online and things like that. So it's like I don't know. I think it's my 30 up mentality where I'm like, I gotta collect this.
Yeah, no,
Squirrel it
I have the
away.
same mentality. It is kind of like a Gen X, early millennial thing.
Yeah, you can loop me into the Millennials, sure. Not an X. Fuck those people.
Speaking of Eyes Wide Shut, that's one with our generation that's really taken off because like I always thought that was a bad movie, and it was always like that
Um,
Kubrick one,
you know,
but it's turned around. I
I
think people
didn't
already think
mind
it's his
it. It's
best.
just it was his last, so I think it's probably everyone thinks it's his best.
Yeah, I
I
definitely think
definitely think it
it's
was way more than just, watching Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Fuck.
yeah. No, I like the movie a lot. It's not my favorite Kubrick or anything, but like
I
I
really
definitely
like Clockwork
wonder
Orange.
your favorite's A Clockwork Orange.
I think so, yeah.
That's a good choice. I think mine's probably 2001, but
Ooh, okay,
I,
yeah.
I kind of just think with directors like him,
Mm-hmm.
I almost don't really have a favorite where it's like they have multiple choices that are the correct answer.
Yeah.
But
What
for
would you say your like top five favorite directors?
top five favorite directors, I've thought about that for a
Maybe
long
like
time.
three, if you can't
All
choose.
right, so I'm gonna go. I'm just thinking. I'm gonna go Woody Allen, Steven
Okay.
Spielberg,
Love
and
it.
Wes Craven.
Ooh, very classics.
And
Uh,
I well, that's the thing. So Spielberg, for instance, he's got like I know it's the cliche, but he's got like 20 classic movies, and
he
I
does, and I think they're all pretty successful too for the most part. Very little of them flopped, I think.
yeah, and
Like,
like you could say Scorsese or Kubrick,
mm-hmm.
um, but I don't know, like they didn't direct Jaws, and that is kind of the thing that pushes it over the edge for me. Where it's like if he only made Jaws, then that'd be one thing, but he
Yeah.
also made Indiana Jones. He
I
also made
loved, so
Schindler's
I grew
List.
up like thinking that Indiana Jones and Star Wars was like pretty normal and everything like that. But like the
Mhm.
way I grew up in the 90s was someone in like 1975 grew up basically. So my dad just instilled everything from his childhood and just kind of vomited onto me in like 1999 kind of thing. So
I
I knew like
had
way too much about Indiana Jones, way too much about Star Wars. Loved Star Trek. I thought Starship Troopers were like the shit and everything like that. And I was like, why don't all these other people love these cult classic things? I was like, who hasn't heard of heavy metal? Yet I'm like maybe like 10, I think.
Yeah, no, I had the same thing where my dad and my stepmother, like, I watched all these movies with them and would listen to some of their music, so that was my taste, was what I was exposed to.
Hmm.
And then you have this mentality, it really hit me in high school, of like new things suck, and especially music,
I
which,
didn't really watch a lot of new things. Like I never so like I just watched was it Step Brothers, like
yeah,
maybe within the past like 9 months. And like I literally turned to the person I was like watching it with, and I literally was like, wow, I was like a lot of my high school like shit makes sense now and everything like that. Just
that's
like people
funny.
go around and quote that shit like parrots and everything like that. And I'm like, what is all this like nonsense and everything like that? And then like I watched this movie and I'm like verbatim, it's like everything that I've ever like encountered as like a 15-year-old girl. And I'm like,
It's
okay, this checks out.
the skeleton key to your childhood.
Pretty much it's like unlocking like those like hidden codes and everything like that. So I'm just like, I see it now.
There's a meme, and it was before memes, you just had to yell Anchorman quotes at each other, and it's kind of like that.
I had just seen that too, a little while ago. I don't find Will Ferrell funny.
I get that.
He was, he's fine, but he's just
Hmm.
like there's so many other funnier people out there.
I think he's as good as the movie he's in. Like I like both those movies you said a
Mm-hmm.
lot, Anchorman,
But
Step
he's
Brothers.
always like kind of like acting himself and no matter like what in like any situation kind of thing.
Yeah, he was good on SNL, but like like I didn't
Mm-hmm.
see like I think it's called Stepdaddy or Daddy's Home or something like that with Mark Wahlberg and him. I didn't watch those. I don't go see
Oh,
every movie
okay.
he's in. But
Mm-hmm.
he was in Barbie this past year, and I didn't even know he was going to be in it. And it's like, oh, cool,
Oh,
Will
okay. I
Ferrell's
haven't
here,
seen
and he's
it.
okay.
Is he a good Barbie?
Yeah, yeah, he's a very good Barbie.
Oh, that's good.
That's
I
it'd be
think.
funny. This turns into just a Will Ferrell podcast.
I would be fucked. I wouldn't know what to do. I've been too busy watching Twin Peaks for the past like 3 months.
Oh, that's funny. Maureen just came over, and
Hmm.
she and her husband made me a Twin Peaks jacket.
What? Oh, you'll have to share that with me. That's
I
so
will.
cool. I'm gonna be
It's
the log lady for Halloween, and my cat is gonna be dressed up as the log that I carry around.
oh, that's
Because
really cool.
he's looking loggy right now. We're putting on our holiday weight.
I think I have to go as Mr. Beast because everybody just tells me I look like him all the time. So
Oh,
it's such a
yeah.
simple costume that it's like, okay.
You even got the facial hair down.
Yeah, I was gonna do Austin Powers because I realized about a year or two ago that for
Oh,
some
that's
reason
classic.
I was like, I don't know why, but I have his glasses and the hair is pretty similar. I don't know at what
Hmm.
stage of my life I was watching Austin Powers and I was like, yeah, that's it. That's
Is there a fourth one yet, or is there still three?
there's still three.
Oh, okay. My dad's a big James Bond fan, so naturally those Austin Power movies kind of made its way into our repertoire.
That
They
makes
were
sense.
entertaining. I really liked Beyonce in it.
I always it is the weirdest thing to me that not only Beyonce but Michael Caine are both in that movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Austin Powers
Mm.
3 is like the most surreal movie ever in retrospect.
Anytime like Seth Green's in a movie, I always get like elated too.
Yeah, I like
He's just
Seth
always like
Green.
he's always like a pleasure, basically. I think I really liked him
Yeah.
in like Idle Hands or something like that.
Right,
Like
that's
the
a
little
really fun
stoner movie.
movie. Yeah.
It's a fun movie, yeah.
How is this your first time watching Twin Peaks?
So the fun it's funny you mention it is I had to start Twin Peaks 2 times before this. I don't know if it was just like right timing, wrong timing kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
but on the third try, I blew right through it. I finished everything except for like the 2017 like
The Return.
season that came out, but like I blew through it, loved the movie and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that. I thought it's really cool and surreal. I like it. I know it's not for everybody, but also like my favorite movies are like The Room and like
Yeah.
not like the horror movie, like the shitty one.
It's kind of a horror movie.
Yeah, it's the same sex scene
Yeah,
7 times spliced in the movie,
and Tommy
basically.
Wiseau's in all of them.
He is, yeah, and it's like slightly changed. It's not even positions or angles of the camera. It's just different, like music. I
I,
think
I don't know
maybe a
that Tommy Wiseau
waterfall.
knows what sex is.
I don't blame him with him being an alien and all.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
think that's
thing.
something we briefed him on.
Yeah, he just heard the term. He's like, okay, this is something humans do. I can put this in the
Yeah,
movie.
I can put this in a movie for sure. But like I think that movie cost like $6 million or something like that.
The Room feels like if you had
It felt
a
expensive.
if you had AI make a movie, that's kind of how The Room feels.
So it gets a 3.6 out of 10 on IDBM, 25% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I usually like to go for.
Mm-hmm.
Someone gave it a 2-star rating. I'm gonna go to San Francisco and dropkick that motherfucker.
Well,
And then 77% of the people who saw the movie liked the movie, apparently, according to Google.
that's a funny thing with movies like The Room or Troll 2 is that
Oh, yeah, Trolls.
Yeah, that's what the one I grew up with. That was my So Bad It's Good movie. But there's a few.
Don't tell
There
me
was
about Leprechaun too.
That's a fun. I was gonna say Halloween Howling 3.
Howling. Okay,
Yeah, the third
I'll
one
have to
is
watch
they
that.
have marsupial werewolves, so they have
What? Have
pouches.
you seen
And
Wolf Cop?
of course, I love Wolf Cop.
Oh my god, it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's everything that you could want in a movie called Wolf Cop. I don't know how
Oh
else to
yeah,
say
same
it.
with was it? I saw like Wolf Cop and Turbo Kid in like the same night, and I was like, this is so fucking
I never
cool.
saw Turbo Kid, actually. I heard that was good though.
It's actually like pretty worth it. It's very like doomsday. I'm watching I call it The Leftovers, but it's just to be funny. I think it's What's Left of Us or something like that. I just went through like 6 months of like mold poisoning from one of my places that I lived, so
Oh
that's been fun.
shit.
But it coincides perfectly with like the plot to this show and everything like that, where like the fungi like overtake them all and they're all like really cool clicky zombies. And I was
Oh,
like, dude, I
Last of
want to be
Us.
that zombie. Oh yeah, Last of Us, not Leftovers.
Because yeah, you said leftovers and then left of us, and I don't know why it didn't click. Because I was thinking that show, The
I'll
Leftovers.
usually just call things the way that I want to be called and just expect people to
I
kind of jump on board.
I do that too, especially with names, like people's names.
Yes, like I kept calling like the girl, this one girl, like the wrong name at work one day, and I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I've already learned it wrong, so you're this now.
Yeah, no, I have like early onset dementia.
Ooh, do you forget about that sometimes?
Forget about what?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well done.
thank you. But no, I never saw the show The Last. I played the first game.
I hear the game is good, but I have no patience for games. I'm still like trying to like navigate Stray.
Yeah, I'm not a big Stray guy, but um,
I just did it for the orange cat.
that's what
But
everybody did. Yeah, like
oh
Last
yeah,
of
and to
Us.
take a nap on like a couch kind of thing is really cute.
No,
But it
that
also like I can turn to my left and actually play with my cat.
that is not, my thing with Stray was that I expected to be a game,
Hmm.
and it really isn't. There's really no gameplay, and I don't think the puzzles are fun or anything, and the story isn't
There
really
was like
there.
one night I was playing it. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just kind of looked down at the controller and I was like, "This is fucking stupid."
Yeah,
I was-
because I was really excited for the game, and then it
Yeah,
just
I was excited when it came out too. I was
it
like, "Oh my God, I could be a cat!" But I
yeah
like those like open world games or like Sims or stuff that you can build and like there's actually like some thought to it. And then like on the other hand,
yeah
I love killing people on GTA.
yeah.
Like if I have a bad day and if I can't get to sleep, I'm just gonna throw that on
I
and I'm just
used to do
gonna
that in
like
high school.
start a melee basically.
It honestly really like fucked up my music taste playing the GTA games in high
I
school.
can't play with the radio on. I'll usually listen to music separately and then play like on mute.
That's what I do now. Um,
Yeah, my music's better.
yeah, mine's probably worse, but no. When I was in high school, like I didn't have the option, so you just
Hmm.
listened to what was on. So I didn't have an MP3 player or anything. So I think a lot
Oof,
of
you
that
raw
stuff.
dogging it.
That's exactly what I was doing.
I
Raw
wouldn't be able
dogging
to work
GTA
16
radio.
hour days if I couldn't spend most of that wearing headphones.
Oh no, that's the only way. I work from home, and so I've been listening to
Yeah.
audiobooks lately.
Ah, that's the
Um,
best.
it is, and it's just like having one coworker who just never shuts up and talks about the same topic
Yeah,
forever.
and you just politely nod.
Yeah. I always go through phases like I'm probably gonna wind up on a true crime kick with it being October, and that's always an
Ooh.
interesting rabbit hole because it starts out true crime and they're just weird
Hmm.
stories. Then it gets to like 911 calls or something, and then it gets to the point
Ooh.
where you wake up at like 2 in the morning and you're like, was that somebody at the door? And then
I've woken up
that's
at
when you're
2 o'clock
like,
in the morning, but like when I put on a podcast and things like that, they have the weirdest and oddest like really long commercials and things like that. So I'll wake
yeah,
up in like the middle of like a 20-minute commercial at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'll be like, what? First of all, 20
yeah,
minutes for a commercial. That's like a episode
yeah.
basically. I was like, you're getting crazy over here, YouTube. Like I
Yeah,
like free shit, but like you wasted 20 minutes of my life.
I forgot about that. I used to get this. I don't anymore. I have ad block on YouTube, so I get to skip
Ooh,
everything.
that's
But
cool.
on my phone, I don't. And
Hmm.
it's not a conscious thing. Even it's not like I don't want because I don't want to watch the ads, but that's how the content creators get money or whatever. and I want to
Yeah,
give them money. I want to support them, but
absolutely, especially when it's not your money.
exactly. But then ad block's just on my web browser
If that's the
automatically.
case, I'll stream shit all day long for a small flat fee
Oh,
if
that's a good
anyone wants
idea.
the
That'd be a
money.
nice thing to do charitably. Just like put
Hmm.
somebody's videos on like their playlist. Just
Yeah,
turn
like on
that
your
on while you're at
TV, on your
work.
computer, on all your laptops. Because I have my MacBook, and then I have like a work laptop, and then I'll probably get another work laptop for this next job that I might be getting. And
How
then
many jobs are you juggling?
so I wrote them down the other day, and I'm up to six.
Holy shit.
On today in my interview, because today was technically a day off. I just used it to get a piercing fix, to get food and go grocery shopping, and
Hmm.
like kind of like go on this interview for kicks, because that's what I like to do. Um, she was like, "Can you handle all this?" And I was like, "Lady, I've been working 16-hour days, 4 days a week for like most of my life." I was like, "Yes, I can handle this." I was like, "If anything, I can do it at my other job too, because most of the shit's remote and I don't need to be at the location to work on my computer all day."
That is insane. Even for 4 day
It
weeks.
is just a generational thing where they think that you have to be in front of them to do your job. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
assure them, I even assure my grandma this. I'm like, hey, my therapist in my computer screen, like in that little fucking cubby thing, it still has a fucking doctorate and everything like that, and still very much a real therapist. I was like, let's not discredit her. She has all
Yeah.
her degrees displayed.
Well, I think
Just
that
because she's in the computer doesn't mean she's not a real person.
that's an interesting thing, and it's really like post COVID. I think is when I first started noticing it. But on one hand, I do think there's a benefit to going somewhere and seeing a therapist in person. That could be
Hmm.
the experience of it can be helpful, like going to the movie
I do
theater.
not have the
But
time.
that's what I was gonna say is that it's kind of not a privilege everybody gets. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't do that because I could never maintain the schedule. I work weird hours.
Yeah. And also, like, why would you want to, like, drive somewhere, go cry, and have, like, a lot of emotional, like, pivotal, like, realizations about something, and then have to drive back home? That's
Yeah.
exhausting. First of all, I'm going to get into a car accident. I just know myself. I'm going to
it
rear end somebody.
it is so funny not living in the city because I'm still on like the city pace with driving.
I am too, and I think it
And
scares people.
yeah,
But
like
I'm just like,
people.
no, I'm just over caffeinated, and I'm also a New Yorker about your
Yeah,
business. Go ahead. Everything's so slow here.
that's fine. I didn't know you were a New Yorker, but you have that vibe.
I do, yeah. Even when I moved to Philly and everything like that, I looked around and I noticed like even the public transit, I was like, is it sleepy? But like everyone's so nice though.
I'm glad you had that experience. PA is a really weird, interesting. It is kind of Twin Peaksy in a lot of
It's
ways.
Twin Peaksy in the fact that there's like where you are in Pittsburgh and where I am in Philly and like nothing in the middle. Maybe
Yeah,
Lancaster.
exactly.
Lancaster's sick as shit. I fucking love going out there.
I really liked Atlanta. I've only been there once, but I really enjoyed it.
Ah, it's so cool. There's so many cows to like moo at. Todd, you haven't lived.
I haven't.
You have to moo at that cow.
Someone sent me a
Show it to his
picture of
boss.
Mushu from Mulan that he drew the other day.
The little dragon dude, voiced
Yeah,
by
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy himself.
Yep,
Yes.
the Eddie Murphy. And so I sent back a
Is he
picture of
dead?
cow shoes and like shoes that are shaped like
Oh
cows, and I
yeah.
just said moo shoes.
Blue
And
shoes.
I found
Aw.
it funny, but I don't think it was appreciated.
I get the humor. I like it.
Thank you. But
Is he dead?
Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
No.
No, he's 62, so almost.
Yeah, he's not.
I
Bill
just feel like he
Cosby's
he
still
probably
alive
got like
too.
cloned or something like that.
He seems like the type. He's probably rich enough that he'll live to be like 95.
And then just regenerate him.
Yeah. And then it'll be like 20-year-old Eddie Murphy again. He'll go back on tour.
Mhm. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that'll be something
I
to look
hear his
forward
like
to.
stand up is like kind of dicey.
Yeah, well, his stand up, like, he had like the most famous stand up special, Raw, forever. But
Oh
then,
really?
like, it's like, it's
I used to
comedy of
really
its
like that like
time.
Comedy Central like at night.
Oh,
Like I
I'm
used to
obs-
like try to like sneak and like watch that, I
Yeah.
think, like late at night.
I talk about it all the
That and
time.
Discovery Health, and I was like, I definitely don't want to be a nurse.
Friday night stand up, like, I think it affected my personality too much watching. It was like having Christmas every Friday.
Mm.
And most of the comedians probably sucked. But there were some good ones that um, I saw back then as a kid. 'Cause I was probably only, I think, like 9 or 10 watching it,
Oh, really?
and it was just like a marathon stand-up
Unsupervised, I'm
comedy.
sure.
Yeah, and it'd be like that, South Park, Drawn Together, Chappelle's
I hear
Show.
South Park is very good. I watched a few episodes, but I definitely want to watch more.
It is hard to recommend at this point. I watched old episodes recently and they were fun, but there's such a
Is it just too
nostalgia
far gone?
factor. Yeah, I watched it for like the first 16 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
I didn't start at year one, to be fair. I probably started like year
Uh-huh.
6 or 7. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's the sixth season up until like the 16th, so a whole 10 years.
Nice.
And it just got to the point like I forgot to watch it one week. And I was like, oh, I forgot to watch South
hmm
Park. And then it was
And then
another
you were
week.
lost.
And then like a year or two later, I was like, yeah, I don't really care about this anymore. And I watched
I
a
like to make the joke that like people are always like, "Oh, have you seen the show or whatever?" And I'm like, I haven't because like I work and go to school, so like I have like real priorities to worry about. But
no, that's
tell me
so
about the
true.
show that you
I
like.
had that in college. I was taking like six
Yeah.
classes, working all the time. I
hmm
didn't have time to watch TV shows. And people are like, you
I
need to
didn't
watch
have any
Breaking Bad.
time
You gotta
for
watch
like
Game of
any sort
Thrones.
of pop culture references. Were just lost on me for about 4 years, and I probably sounded like foreign to most people.
Yeah, which honestly I like being out of that loop because I mean it could be fun, and I get. I'm not saying that like being in the threads
I think it's
online.
Matrixy. It's
Um,
very like rehearsed, and I think it's funny when everybody likes the same thing.
yeah,
Like
I don't want to
they're
sound
lying.
I don't want to sound contrarian, but it puts me off when everybody likes
hmm
something. Whereas like
It gives me like bad collective vibes, and I'm like, no, 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 this is demonic.
that is a it's the Bukowski quote. I think it's Bukowski. If
Oh yeah,
everybody goes one way, go the opposite way.
I've been oppositing for way too long to the point where I'm just like upstreaming it.
Yeah, I try not to. I try to be open minded, but
hmm
it's not like I immediately like fuck this, but there's always like a dubiousness. I always doubt
Yeah,
it.
like I have a healthy distrust for all authority, no matter what
Yeah,
uniform they wear.
it is really funny because like the older I get, I was always told like, no, it's a teenage thing, and then you're in
hmm
college, you don't like cops or whatever, and now like I'm 29 and I'm like, no, this is all getting much. I like them much less now than I did as a
Uh,
child.
yeah, and then it's like, no, I just don't like people, and then it's like, I'd rather just stay home now.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing I've been like focusing on. Like, it's just like peace, just
Peace.
resting.
Yeah, my body is, I think, in just a total state of like distress half the time. So, like, even when I am
Yeah.
resting, I'm not really resting. Like, I wake up in the middle of the night, like bolting up and like panic kind of thing. Like, I haven't smoked or done any drugs and everything like that in
Mhm.
over like a few months now, and it's just to be like completely sober and not having anything to like crutch on basically, except for like fucking filtered air and like seltzer water. I'm really raw
Yeah.
dogging life right now.
That's funny because I'm doing the same exact thing. I've been on medication since 2021,
hmm
and I just stopped taking it after moving. I just decided I didn't want to take it anymore.
Just like a
And
different chapter kind of thing.
honestly,
Do you
what
find it was like kind of not helping as much?
yeah, well, I just I started on a very light dose and got more and more and more, and then it started to have really
hmm
severe side effects that it never
Okay.
used to have. So I took less because
hmm
I didn't. So I'm really big into fasting, and
Okay.
it would fuck up my fast where I'd be getting hunger pains,
Ugh.
and it was only when I took my pill. So even if I ate and then took my pill, even though I was
hmm
full, I would eat myself sick because I was like a physical
Oh, okay.
pain and
Yeah.
nausea and just so I got less and I was like I'm doing good with less. Maybe I'm going to take a little bit less than this because another factor is the cost of them has tripled in the past year for me.
I
uh,
know a lot of medications have. I need an inhaler now, and honestly, I don't have a prescription for one, and I'm just kind of looking at it. I'm like, well, it's under 50, so just try to breathe at this point.
yeah,
Don't die.
but I was on very light medication and
hmm
the past month just some really messed up stuff happened that I don't know, just really threw me through a loop. It was kind of just
Life related or just
yeah,
in
life
general?
related.
Yeah.
Just just a tumultuous, complicated relationship that has many different sides to it for years,
hmm
and it was you're dating, then you're friends, and they're this and that, and and
It's
it's
really hard for me to date an ex-partner. I
yeah,
probably will never do that. Is
no,
it cool if they can be friends with their partner? Absolutely. That's some
hmm
fucking growth. I don't know if I am capable of doing that. I'll probably always have feelings for that person. But
yeah.
to each their own kind of thing.
That's how it is for me. I can't get the details, but circumstantially, I was in a position where I didn't have a choice.
Hmm.
I had to interact with the person, had to be very close with them, uh, and it just ended in getting completely fucked over just for the final time, where it was just
Yeah.
like the whole thing where you think like forgiveness and oh we moved on and now we're just really good friends, and it's like
Uh-huh.
no, this
Yeah.
was never the case. You were stupid. It was egotism to be like, look, I
Hmm.
forgave this person that caused me so much strife, but
Yeah.
it was stupid, and it just really hurt. It was just thinking about all it's like a breakup. It wasn't a breakup, but it's like a breakup, a friend
Oh.
breakup, where you had
Those
so
kind of hurt
much.
the worst. Like my best friend and I, like at the time,
Yeah,
I think we were friends for like 6 years or something like that. There was just one night where she just like was like, "Yeah, I'm going to Florida." She's like, "You can either come with me or like not." And I was like, "Nah."
yeah. That's a
And
tough sell. There's
it was
alligators
a
there.
really tough sell. I was like, dude, I was like, my whole life is up here. I was like, you're asking me to just leave my life just because you want to go to Florida and everything like that. She ended up coming back in like 6 months or like 6 to like 9 months or something like that. She came back, briefly apologized to me. And then I was like, yeah, I'm like, we're done.
Yeah, but
Like, I'm not going through that shit again. Like,
yeah,
what if I moved all my shit down to Florida just for you to come back and apologize to me 6 months later? How stupid would I be?
good point. So yeah, I was going through all that shit, and I just thought like, you know what? I just want to experience all of this unmedicated, and just had a lot of
I think
change in my
in
life in
itself,
general.
like being so like sober and unmedicated is its own weird drug. And it's like I don't want to say you get
Yeah,
off on it, but you definitely get high off of it.
yeah. I'm much more like energetic and manic now. Like I have like 100 ideas a day again. My
Are you
thoughts
writing them down or
race.
is it just like going one ear and out the other? Like my
I
notepad is like a fucking wreck right now.
Yeah, I try to like Buffalo theory, where I try
Oh,
not
I like
to,
that.
and like
Yeah.
just let the week die.
hmm
That's if I have an idea late at night.
I'm pretty sure I know exactly what you mean by that because every time I go on like a family hike, my dad used to say he's like, "Oh, your grandparents are like in the back." I was like, "Oh, like Buffalo style."
Exactly.
Like I thought you loved grandpa.
He loves them the way Buffalo do.
I think he loves them in the fact that I know exactly the way that he loves them.
But then like a big thing for me is like, particularly if I'm running or exercising, that's when
hmm
my thoughts just go wild. And it's like I can't help but
I
I'm running
I
and typing
miss
furiously on
I
my
miss
phone.
running so much. I have no idea where I can run right now where I live, and it's like frustrating.
That's what I had in
Just because
Pittsburgh.
it is like in the burbs and everything like that, and I could run, and I
Yeah.
was like, I'm just gonna get hit by a car probably, and
Yeah,
I could join a gym membership again, but I found out Planet Fitness was charging me for two gym memberships, like for a year and a half, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I haven't been in the gym since like 2020. I was like, why do you do this to me? I
well, that's my fear with the winter coming
think
up.
I was losing like $250 a year for like the past like 3 years.
Yeah, no, and that adds up a lot.
Oh
Especially,
yeah.
like working as much as you do, you got to think about how much the value of that
I
money
was so
is.
livid. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's my Pico bell.
The thing is though, also is like for me, like at this point, I was thinking about today, like I run more than I write or read or do anything. Like
hmm
at this point, that's like the primary thing I do.
I used to run more when I was in the city, but I think I was just kind of running from something. But also, like, when I lived in the city and everything like that, I think I had a more of a sense of work-life balance. And
Yeah,
now when I'm out here, I'm just like either working or I'm like fucking around, basically, and like staring at a wall or like people watching at like 11 o'clock at night.
well, that's how it is. Like getting older, you just start to enjoy doing nothing. Like I love being boring.
I want to be boring.
Yeah, I like strive
Teach
for it.
me.
What what I've noticed is that there's two times in life where you're so stressed that you can't. You're like, oh my god, I just want this to be over. And then what are
hmm
the other times? You're bored. So
Is it always like one or the other kind of
yeah,
thing?
yeah. So I just began to be like, you know what? I'm not losing my fucking mind because everything's falling apart around me. Boredom
Yeah.
rocks.
Let's just bore- kill him with boredom.
And that's when like depression sets in. That's when the idle hands quote comes into play.
Yeah. And
Where
my anxiety is taking full on effect right now.
oh, that's the worst. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's horrible considering I just drink nothing but herbal tea at night now. I drink a lot of
Mm-hmm.
coffee and everything like that, but like it all it does is make me not want to fall asleep. And
Yeah,
then like
coffee's
20
good for
minutes later
that.
I'll be like, yeah, I'm about to like crash. So it does like nothing.
Yeah, I worked overnights for years and I drank so much caffeine that, and I had
hmm
to, like, I'd be falling asleep and I'd just drink it to get through the shift. And then I get home and I couldn't sleep between the sunlight and just being so
Yeah.
over caffeinated. Like, I'd be sleeping like an
I
hour or two a
joke like
day at
everywhere I
home.
go now, there's like construction near me. So like even if I do try to sleep during the day and like I do have to like get up to work or if like I do have to like bartend that night or something like that, because like sometimes I will work nights and things like that,
Hmm.
like on the rarity these days. I can't sleep all day. Or like I'll try to find like a quiet park or something like that. And then like a bunch of like tennis moms at like 1 o'clock in like the fucking afternoon will like swarm up behind me and like take over a tennis court. And I'll just be like, is this leisure time? Like, what is this? Like, are you playing for fun? Like, there's no league or anything.
Yeah,
It's
well,
crazy.
it's so hard to get away from people.
hmm
It's funny
Like,
how
I want to
valuable that
off grid
is.
so badly, but I want to off grid with the best Wi-Fi and like a great array of like smelling candles, basically.
Yeah, the essentials. Well,
Oh yeah, the essentials.
that is the thing, and I've noticed like it's becoming more romanticized, especially like TikTok and YouTube. And I don't use TikTok, but I see TikToks on YouTube, and it's like van life or living on what's that?
Yeah.
Not squatting. That's the bad thing. Um,
You can technically do it for 30 days
what is the when you live off the land? I can't remember what that's called now.
farming.
No, there's some trendy term for it, but yeah, it's basically
It's not
farming.
like off-grid housing or
I think it kind of is. I guess it doesn't matter, but like I notice a lot of our generations, like, yeah, no, just go off the grid or just live in a van. It hit me like, oh, it's because we can't afford houses. We're like now we're
it's
like in the
that, but I think
bargaining
it's the fact
stage.
that the people who bought these houses when they were like a nickel and a hay penny aren't fucking dying. Like,
Yeah,
I got a great grandma. She's lovely. I haven't
yeah,
seen her in years and she's 100 years old and she's probably seen way too fucking much.
yeah.
I don't want to be 100 years old and see things.
No,
I don't even want to be 40 at this point and see what the trajectory is for like the next like 9 years kind of thing.
I
Like to put it in perspective.
I feel the same way. It's hitting me really. I think the
Like
funny thing is
five
like,
years max. I don't want kids anymore. I
mhm,
don't want a house or anything like that. I want like no like attachments or anything like that to this earth. At this point, like if it was up to me, I'd sell probably most of my stuff because like a lot of my stuff is in storage right now, and I'm kind of just seeing like, hey, we're the same three fucking pairs of black pants and everything like that, and a long sleeve shirt and a short sleeve shirt and a tank top, and I'm like, you know what? I could be kind of happy with that if it wasn't for like my sense of self and like the need for me to like express myself like all the time, like wear that
right.
dress or something like that.
But it,
I don't know if I'm built for that, but it sounds great.
I know exactly what you mean because it's like it's Fight Club. It's like, do you own these things or do they own you?
Oh, my stuff owns me 100%.
Yeah,
I love shit.
that's the thing.
I get off fucking retail therapy myself into a coma, basically. Oh, I've had a bad day. I'm going to TJ Maxx. Oh, I've had a bad day. I'm going to Five Below. They have the best books.
Yeah, no, same. And this year, I wanted to no buy, and I was sticking with it for a
hmm
couple months,
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
and it was nice. But then I looked at my bank account, and it was the fucking same because the cost of everything went up so much that it
hmm
didn't matter. And then it just
I
hit me
was
one
telling
day.
I don't speak to my parents much, but I was
Mhm.
telling briefly from what I was encountering with my father, and I was like, hey, I was like, I know you're not aware of inflation because of your tax bracket. I was like, but my tax bracket, which is much, 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 much lower than yours. I was like,
Mhm.
people can't even afford fucking groceries, dude. I was like, I just got paid and all my whole fucking check went to my goddamn credit card. Like for one
Yeah.
job, and it was for 2 weeks. It was 8 nights of work basically paid off my credit card. And while that's cool and everything like that, I should not have to work 8 nights in a row.
Yeah. No, I mean that's really what's hit in like all this stuff that you said, like not having kids and just like not wanting a house. Like,
I don't
it,
see how it's feasible.
I agree, and the way culture's going and like the cost of having it's just a thing where it's almost like it's hard enough just to exist and scrape
Yeah,
by.
I think it's funny that like people are just willing to be into so much debt and everything like that willingly. Um, I get upset when like my credit card like gets like to like $500 and I'm just like, meh.
I'm the same way. I'm pissing myself off lately because I have a credit card up like 700,
Mm-hmm.
and I usually keep them all like under 100 is usually my limit,
Yeah,
and it's fine. Like I can pay it off. It's just um, with like moving and all that stuff, I put it on the credit card so I could get the rewards,
yeah.
and
I do
then
that too a lot. Like I'll do that with my rent and everything like that. And like it's expensive because they'll like charge you like $60 on top of your rent and everything like that to use your credit card. But it's like I don't even know what the first thing what the fuck a money order is. So it's like
I don't know either. I hear that term and it's like, what the fuck is
I
this?
do too, and I'm like, this is just like some weird fantasy thing that I made up in my mind
It's
that
just a
like
fancy check.
I don't know what it is, dude, because like even my grandma was like, well, don't you get a paper statement for your bank? And I was like, what? I was like, maybe at one time when I was like 12 and I first opened the account, I was like, but like grandma, I was like, I can't even take like a screenshot for you to like first of all, what do you want to know what's in my bank? I was like, second of all, unless you're dropping some Hanukkah money in there early, I was like, you don't need to know shit.
Yeah.
But as far as you know, your granddaughter's broke as fuck.
Well, isn't that a weird thing too? Like an ex that I dated until 2018, her family still asks me for money.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you like trade her in for like a cow or anything like that? Was there like a
Yeah.
dowry or anything?
There
It's
should have
odd.
been. Oh, the thing was I knew her sister before I knew her. We went to high school together.
Oh, okay.
So like it's not
Gotcha.
as though there was no like relationship before or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um and she just kept asking me for money. And there's a time or two where I was like, okay, sure, I'll try to help you.
That's
Um
weird.
and it just got to the point where it's
I
like
don't even like it when somebody pays for my meal
routinely.
half the time.
Yeah, I know
Like I'll
people
usually
like
just
that.
like take turns paying for dinner.
I,
Like
I'm
when
actually
I
the
go
same
on Venmo
way.
because I'm nosy and I see a couple who's like engaged or whatever, they just Venmo each other the same $10 like back and forth. I'm like, your marriage is gonna be so fucking hard. I was like, you're gonna be
Yeah,
engaged forever. I was like, there's like, how are you expected to pay for a wedding if you're Venmoing each other the same ten
that's
dollars
funny.
for like 8 years? I
Well,
was like, grow the fuck up.
you know what hit me because I like to be generous. I enjoy like I tell myself that's why I work overtime and stuff is so that
Hmm.
I can go out with someone and be like, hey, tonight's on me. Just don't worry
Yeah, but
about
like
it.
you should
But
want to do that to your partner and everything like that. You should
oh,
want to treat
definitely.
them and everything like that. And it shouldn't be like well, I paid for your coffee this morning, so fuck you and give me sushi
Oh no, that's
kind
just
of
like
thing. I'm like, ugh.
manipulation. That's like
Yeah, no,
abuse.
that's not good.
But I had a
Plus the two of them
friend.
would send my tummy into a heart attack.
I had a friend and like I pay for stuff sometimes, and
Hmm.
like she'd get up or whatever. I just get the check and I think I got it as cool, and she really took offense. I just did like once and she just like threw a fit about it, and it was
Really?
honestly being irrational. Hence
Hmm.
why she's a former friend, but
Yeah.
not that situation, just multiple. But she explains like, no, I want to pay and I apologize. And it's like honestly,
Hmm.
I didn't consider. I thought I was doing this because it made me feel good. I didn't consider that if you don't want this, that it's selfish for me to do this thing seemingly nice because it's disregarding your feelings. And that was a
Especially
lesson I
if
had to
you're
learn.
gonna be the bigger person too, because if you're just stare, I hate people that just stare at the check. Don't stare at the check. First of
Yeah.
all, if I haven't paid prior and everything like that, I like to see the smirk on people's faces where they go to reach for their wallet and I've already paid for it.
Oh, that's
That's
funny.
that's my favorite. But like you can only do that to places that you go like regularly and everything like that. I'll usually take them to like the same sushi spot I've been going to since I was 18 and be like, yeah, I was like, put this on my tab. I was like,
That's cool.
yeah.
I do miss sushi.
I love sushi. You don't have any sushi spots by you? We can make
No,
you some sushi. I'll send you sushi.
thank you.
I have a roll mat.
Really? That's really cool.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. You have to. I live right by a really cool Asian market, so like I always find like the coolest stuff there.
That's
Oh, and
cool.
banana milk, oddly enough. So like one night, like I made like a banana bread oat milk chai latte, and I hate chai, but like it was fucking delicious.
No, it sounds good.
It was very good. It tasted like fall in a cup.
I'm so unadventurous with food. I've tried so hard to make food, and it's just
I
like
love
something I
potatoes.
do
I think
for.
potatoes are very versatile.
I do too. No, I mean I'm Irish, like I said, so
Yeah,
I'm all about potatoes.
love a good potato.
Yeah, that's like yeah, like just a normal I don't what the hell a baked potato. Jesus, a baked potato, mashed
I
potatoes,
went to
pierogies.
like a shower, for a bridal shower, and they had these like twice baked like sweet potatoes with like some sort of like butter and maple syrup. Oh, they were so good. And like I didn't eat the entire time usually, and then I was like starving, of course, at the end of the night, and we'd smoked prior to that, so I was like, all
Mm.
right, I'm getting munchies, and they're like, do you want like a sweet potato for the road? And I didn't even hesitate. I grabbed that sweet potato out of the refrigerator, no napkin, just like raw and balled in my hand, and I just said thank you very much, and I left.
That's so funny.
It was delicious. I love it.
It's fun.
Big potato fan.
Speaking of that kind of, I got two weddings coming up this month.
Whoa, how are you gonna afford the gifts? Don't you have to give them millions of dollars of gifts?
Yeah, no, I'm taking out two loans, so I
Oh
got
wow.
it.
Well, you can reuse the same suit, so that's nice.
No, I gotta rent the
Hopefully,
suit. I didn't know, like, I'd
oh,
never
you're
been
gonna rent
invited
it.
to a wedding before.
Really?
Well, like,
Do you know what to expect or no?
I was at, like, my stepbrother's wedding, but I was, like, a part of it, I should say.
Hmm.
Um,
I think it's different when you're a part of something.
yeah, like, you have to get a
When
certain
you're just a
kind of
bystander, you're
suit.
kind of just like cattle, basically, that had to like pay a very expensive gift,
Yeah.
hoping you get to see a glimpse of the reason why you were there the entire day.
Yeah, you get, like, one sentence with whatever family member it is, and you feel like you
Exactly.
accomplished
They're like,
something.
thank you for coming. I love doing photography for weddings though, because it's like you're on your feet the entire day. And in like the morning is like the best when everyone's like getting ready and like the like groom doesn't show up and you're like the first to know. It's fantastic.
You get the behind the scenes shots.
I love the behind the scenes stuff. I've always liked that as a kid. I thought that was like way more interesting. And it was always interesting for me to like hang out with adults than it was like for kids. I thought the kids were like pubescent and boring.
Yeah, doesn't
But I
that kind of
really
fuck
wanted
you
to
up
know
as
what
a
like
kid,
all the
too?
adults were doing.
Because I was the same way. I always liked adults and like adult humor, the way adults talked.
I
Uh,
thought it was cool. It's just like really funny to like think about that now and be like, wow, you're very much groomed as a kid.
yeah, exactly. And it's funny because now I don't interact with kids, obviously, but like family members and
Yeah.
stuff that are teenagers are like they're way smarter than kids that were my age when I was that age.
hmm
I don't
I
hate the
feel like
younger
that's way
generation
too
or
much
anything.
access to the internet.
I think so. I think it's like
Because like even my students that I teach now, they're adults, but they like to challenge me with Google. And I'll be like, all right, we're gonna do a mural. And they're like, what's a mural? I'm like, we live in fucking Philadelphia. You're telling me that you don't look at the wall ever and see what the fuck a mural is. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was like, Google it. They're like, oh, that's a mural. I'm like, I'm living in the fucking Twilight Zone.
yeah.
I was like, I must be taking crazy pills.
That's pretty rough. See, one thing I'm obsessed with is like art analysis on YouTube and stuff. Like that's like catnip for me.
Ooh,
Especially like paintings
I'm
and
trying to think
photography and
what I like. Are
stuff.
you hungry? Is that what you're following me around? My cat might be hungry.
My cat was
Um,
doing that earlier, but I gave him a lot of catnip. Speaking of,
I give
and now he's
him
chill.
bacon. He had chicken. He had a little turkey before bed, so the tryptophan works on him, and he can actually go to sleep, and I can go to sleep. Has had plenty of meat today, and I just bought him like a really big fountain. I don't think I've had to refill it since I bought it Saturday.
That's
Like,
I should get my cat a
it's
fountain.
Friday, so it's been a week, and I don't think I've. Oh, I should probably drink some water then. It has been a week.
My
I
cat's
think
not
I look
really
like
into
a
water
bad cat
though.
mom.
He doesn't really.
More of
He eats wet
a
food.
milk cat. Uh,
He was a
I
milk
always
cat
say
actually.
there's like two kinds of cats. There's the cream cats, and then there's the meat cats. And the meat cats like the meat, and the cream cats like the cream.
Yeah,
And they're like the vegetarian cats, basically. They're like, I won't eat that bacon. And my cat's like, fuck you, pig. I'm gonna eat you.
yeah. My cat, I think he was separated from his mom too early because he used to like
Aw,
when he was a kid, he would like suck our thumbs and so, like you'd wake up and you like I feel
that's
something
so cute.
weird and you're and it was him with the covers.
Aw.
And yeah, if I had yogurt, he would run up and I'd usually like open the yogurt and I'd get up to get a spoon and then
Hmm.
I'd turn around and he'd have yogurt on his nose and
Yogurt's
milk,
good
all
for
that
them.
stuff.
I put pumpkin on like one of those like little mats and I put it in the freezer for him, so he has like some enrichment.
That's smart. I never think about stuff like that for my cat. I'm very
Yeah,
basic.
you gotta.
I get him all these toys and stuff, and it's like 50-50.
Mine has a lot of toys. He plays with the same like three of them. They all have catnip in them, but I think it's because I'm a teacher and everything that I'm like, oh, let's go do this activity, friend, or like I'll be like, go take my cat for a walk.
Yeah, no, I think for me it's definitely like surrogate child kind of shit at this point. Where
That
it's
is
like,
my baby. My one friend
yeah.
refers to him as my son, and I'm like, oh, my son.
Yeah, like I hate the people like on Mother's Day. I remember one person posted in college. He's like, "I may not have a human daughter, but I am a mother." And it's like, well, hey, let's not.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it is a thing. Like the cat dad thing is true.
Dude, I love cat dads. I think they are very much the only hope that we have for humanity. We need more cat dads in the world.
That is very
We all have to
concerning.
band together.
Well, it's just such a.
Underrepresented, underappreciated.
Well, it's just it's such a thing. Like you do become more sensitive about some things being a cat dad.
And I love dogs too. But I watch
Oh yeah,
dogs like for profit is what I say. Dogs for profit, cats for pleasure.
that makes sense.
Anytime I go like cat sitting, I'm basically house sitting. And the cats always hide and they're like ghosty cats and I hear them scribbling, squirming all over the house and everything like that. And I'm like, oh my god, the house is haunted. And 95% of the time it's just a cat made
Well,
up
that's
from
what I love
people I
about
evil.
cats is that like a lot are friendly, but the ones that are
Hmm.
shy when they do warm up to you, it's like an achievement unlocked.
Yes, very much so.
Making that
I feel like I've
progress.
done well, basically. Or I'd be like, oh my god, I finally saw you. Like I pet sat for a couple for like a former client. It was in like their old house, if that makes sense. So like I've been in that house before, just with like a
Hmm.
different set of pets, basically. Um, and the lady assured me, like the entire time I was there, I think I was there for like 17 days. She's like, "Oh, have you seen the other cat?" She like kept referring to it as kitten, and I'm like, I see like a big orange motherfucker that like meows and is called Scotchy.
That's a
And
good
then
name
she's
for a
like,
cat.
no, she's like, kitten should be somewhere. And I'm like, hey, I'm like, you seem a little out there and everything like that. I'm like, do you happen to have a picture of kitten and everything like that? I'm like, there's no fucking, I'm being punked. I was like, I'm looking after one fucking cat kind of thing. And like, she sends me a picture of this like tabby cat. And I'm
Hmm.
like, lady, I have searched high and low for this cat. I was like, this cat is not in this house. I was like, I think you're grossly misinformed. And like the cat looked fake and stuffed, and I showed it
That's
to like
really
three other
funny.
people. I'm like, do you think this is a real cat, or am I being like jinxed, basically? But the cat
just
looked
get.
fake as fuck. It was very just like vacant looking, and I literally like one day I looked over, and it was like maybe towards the end of like my gig,
Hmm.
and this fucking tabby was staring at me in the eyes, and I looked at her and I said, "Yeah, fucking caught." I was like, "I fucking found you."
Well,
But
well,
it was like such an achievement. It was fantastic.
it's funny like the idea of cat sitting and just like sitting in the house for days or whatever because what
Sitting
if
in
it.
the house for days with your cat, but it's like my cat like can't regulate himself, but like I know cats that will be able to just like leave food out for like 3 days and they're fine. My cat would freak out if he didn't have any human contact every 5 minutes.
That's what I was gonna.
I've contemplated putting like a cutout cardboard copy of myself in like my bedroom just for
That's
him.
a good idea. Well,
I
that's the
think
thing.
everyone would enjoy that.
I have intense anxiety staying anywhere
Hmm.
overnight.
Do you
Uh,
really?
Not like one night's usually okay, but if it's
Hmm.
like two nights, I start to get kind of sketched out because I just
Mm.
feel bad for them.
Did you like live with your significant other at the time? Because like I could feel like having a sleepover would be kind of stressful maybe for you.
So when I got him,
Mm-hmm.
when I got him, it was with my significant other that I
Gotcha.
was with at that time, and so
Mm-hmm.
we were raising him together to be our cat.
Yeah.
And then when she left, she was basically like, okay,
She
so you're
left
probably
your cat?
yeah. I mean, she
Oh,
left him with me.
all right,
There's
but
three
still.
cats. She had two prior,
Okay.
and then we had gotten this one together. And
Mm-hmm.
he realized that I was cool, and he saw things in her that I didn't at the
Yeah.
time. No, I think he liked
Like the
her.
the lack of love.
Yeah, yeah, because he probably like touched me and I was like warm, and then she was like cold like a reptile, and that
Oh,
sketched him out.
yeah. To be fair, my feet are very cold like a reptile, but I think my cat kind of likes it sometimes because he'll like lick them like a weirdo.
Yeah, this was her heart I was referring to,
Mhm. Oh, okay. You're
but
referring to it for
yeah,
reptilian heart. Gotcha.
yeah, scaly, cold
Cool.
heart.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that was cool that she let me keep him and stuff because
Oh, yeah, totally.
we're like best friends. So
Aw, good. Like real best friends, right?
yeah,
Good.
I mean I don't sleep in a bed with other best friends, so
Nah. Yeah, definitely not.
so yeah, we're pretty close.
I do it with my cat because we are best friends though. But it's just because I stole him from a neighbor. So technically I stole my best friend.
You abducted him,
I did. He's like a furry
catnapper.
hostage. He was like forced to like hang out with me and become dependent. If anything,
He didn't
he's
belong to
my
them. He was a
bitch.
stray, right?
No, he was very much their cat.
Oh no,
He just popped over the fence one day and wanted to hang out and never come home.
that's funny.
But I'm pretty sure there was like four kids in that house, and there was a huge German Shepherd and like a Philly row home. And I think Banner kind of got
Oh
lost in the sauce for a bit. And I would
yeah.
see him like out back, and I'd be like, oh, what a pretty orange cat, and everything like
Oh,
that. And I
orange
never
cats are
put
the
the two and two
best.
together. My God, he exudes orange energy. He's like, he's such a little ham bone too.
When I took my cat to
No,
meet
I
my
know, I hear
family,
you. He
um,
just started meowing as soon as I moved down to the city. He like learned to meow, and I was like, "This is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard." Because he was quiet for like 2.5 years that I've had him, and I loved him for it. And now he's in his meowing era.
I've had
Do
friends
it,
with cats like
meow.
that.
It's so weird.
My cat, I heard when he was a kitten, I was reading all up on like cats and how to be good cat
Hmm.
dads, and you're supposed to talk to them a lot.
I talk
And
to my cat way too often.
same, and a to make him
Be careful
comfortable with
though.
my voice, but I also heard it makes them want to talk. But the issue is that
Maybe we've talked enough.
he really likes talking to me.
Oh.
I think particularly
Does he
if
like meow or does he do that weird chitter thing? I like the little thing. It's really cute.
he does a meow, but he has when he purrs, he kind of does the chitter. It's very weird. He kind of squeaks when
It
he purrs
the dude, the
sometimes.
chitter is everything. And then I'll even go on Instagram or whatever, and people will have those like under the chin like cat cameras that I'm obsessed with. You want to talk about obsession? I am obsessed with those under the chin cat cameras. And then they'll go and they'll be like to each other, and then the other cat will run up and go, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, stop. And I'll like play it for Banner. I'm like, why can't you be like them?
Yeah, whenever like if I leave and come back, then he always has like he gives me an earful.
Oh, like where have you been?
Yeah, probably. I like
You
to think it's
left
more
me.
just like he just is talking, but
Hmm.
yeah, he's probably complaining. That's the thing that sucks with like moving around in like our generation. Like I'd love to just have a house where I could have all my movies and books
I
and
can't
my
imagine
cat.
how much money I've spent on rent in like 15 years, basically, when I could have just gotten a house. Like, I'm kind of
Yeah,
mad about
you
it,
probably could have been like a quarter of a way of paying a house off.
probably.
And
But also at the same time, I'm very transient
mhm,
and hate being stuck in one place that like for very long.
I'm the same way, honestly. It's weird because I've moved around quite a bit in life now,
Hmm.
and I don't mean to move, but I never really I don't care where I live, to be honest. And just life has just taken me different directions, and I like the freedom to do that without having to sell a fucking house.
Yeah, or you could rent your house out too, but I get you.
Are you digging a grave right now?
I wish. I am thirsty, so to the
Oh,
kitchen I go.
Nice.
There's I have a seltzer obsession.
I seltzer like sparkling water, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a very New York thing.
No, no, no. I'm obsessed with it too. I have right now. I'm looking. I have one, two. I have 6 boxes of sparkling water.
6 boxes.
Yeah, they're all like some of them are like more empty though.
Hmm.
They have like one can in it, but they're just my. That's how I quit drinking soda. It helps me with fasts because like the carbonation makes you feel more full, and
I like it just because it's like buttering your tongue.
yeah, and also like
Um,
it just tastes good, but it's water. I can't explain it any
yeah.
better. It's like all the
No, no, I
benefits
feel
of
you. It,
pop.
it is very fun. It's like a little treat.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't like, and then like the carbonation kind of, I don't know if it reminds you of beer or what.
I'm sorry.
But
What?
I said I don't know if like the carbonation reminds you of beer, but it's like kind of like the same like effect that like the bubbles kind of give you that like whole dopamine effect.
I guess so. That makes sense. Well, that's a funny thing because we were talking about like I'm just trying to drink socially now, which is
Hmm.
mostly just I don't really care. Like it's a weird thing. Like I did an interview with a dude who interviews authors. I don't know, like a month ago, and
Hmm.
like we were talking about drinking and writing, and I said I never related to that, but the most recent project I've been working on, I was drinking while writing. But like
Mm.
it's a weird thing where I feel like I'm becoming one of those like drunk author like images, but I'm not that guy.
Mm.
It's more kind of the opposite where I don't think I really party that much. So when I do, I make a bigger deal out of it than most people.
Yeah,
But it's a
I
strange
feel you.
thing where I'm like I need to shut up about this because people are gonna start thinking I'm like, you know,
No, but if you don't do it often and everything like that, it's only going to seem like you do a lot of it is because like you're going to get like hammered basically.
that's how it is. Yeah, yeah. It's a thing for me. I
I
was
was
doing
like that
like
a lot. I wouldn't drink a lot, but when I did, I was like, I'm a fucking blackout.
that's how it is. Um, it's a thing too where it's like I always like to drink
Hmm.
because in this I don't know, it might be a fucked up thing to say, but like people who I'm not criticizing people, but I think if you don't ever do it, I think there's a fear certain people have that they don't want to admit that they think if they have one drink they're going to completely go off the wagon. And for
Yeah.
some people that's true and they shouldn't at all. And I totally get that and
Hmm.
I respect that. But for me, especially being OCD, I like to do things in moderation because that's almost impossible for me.
Oh yeah.
So to drink once a week or to like not going out to eat's a big thing, and I did yesterday because basically my chicken just didn't thaw in time. So I was like, okay,
Oh
fuck it.
no, so you had nothing to eat.
Yeah, I basically had to, but but just to say like, oh, it's okay to do this sometimes or
Yeah.
exercise. Like if I don't get to exercise, like it rains today and I did run,
Hmm.
but if it was gonna rain to the point where I couldn't, I would have been so angry all day because of it. Because
I
I'm
like to take myself out for dinner sometimes. I think it's a nice treat. The other
yeah.
night I just went out like after work with a friend, like a coworker.
Hmm.
And I don't ever do stuff like that. My coworkers are my coworkers. You're not my fucking friend,
You are
kind of
so
thing.
smart for that. That's something that I had to age out of, and like I like my coworkers, but
Hmm.
it really fucks your life up.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience, it really, really fucks your life up.
And I work with some dope ass fucking people at some of these jobs. Like I probably
Hmm.
work with over 100 people in the course of like a day. I'm not even like bragging.
Hmm.
There's some very cool people I work with. I would never hang out with most of them.
Yeah, I
Never.
get it.
Just like never.
When I was working in college, it was like my social life, and I was friends with a lot of
Hmm.
coworkers, and I still keep in touch with some of them. They're good people.
I'll keep in touch with
Um,
them, but if they ever want to like get together for like a girls' thing or something like that, I'm like, I'd rather
yeah.
die.
Well, that is the thing for me, where a lot of my friends are girls, and I'm like, that is so. How did that
Hmm.
happen? And then it hit me as like, oh, because I work and I'm mostly working with women,
Yeah.
which is
See, mine's the
fine, but
opposite. I'm friends with a lot of men. And I'm friends with men up to a certain point until they usually get a girlfriend or a wife, and then we kind of part ways amicably, and they go off into their own world.
it makes sense. It sucks because I understand it where it's like you can't cause problems in the relationship.
Yeah.
But then it's also like I've told people that I've dated, like, hey, I'm friends with some girls. I was friends with them
Mm-hmm.
before I met you,
I'll
and
be friends with them after you.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And also, like, if I was interested in this person, I would be pursuing them and not you.
hmm that's some reassurance. I think sometimes I need that because I find usually if guys have like girlfriends that are close, but like you don't meet them and things like that, and they just kind of talk about them like in passing. They're like, oh, so and so. And I'm like, I don't, first of all, I don't fucking care. Second of all, like, I don't fucking can't keep track of your repertoire of women that are going to replace me that you tell me not to worry about kind of thing. She's just a friend. So I can't keep track, basically. I'm sorry. I don't know who the fuck Emily is.
Right. No, I get that. Well, that's the thing for me is that I always like I'm uncomfortable. Like I have some friends that have like boyfriends that I didn't meet for a while, and that made me uncomfortable to some degree, just as a
hmm
friend. Um.
My best friend's a dude. And like when I
Mhm.
tell people that, I'm like, nah. I was like, yeah, we just go around like coffee crawls and like we do like hood rat shit. Like that's it. Like that's it. We talk about each other every day. I
Mhm.
show him espresso makers. That's it. Like that's the extent of our friendship kind of thing. And it works for both of us. We're both pretty neurodivergent. We're both
Yeah.
really like technology based and stuff like that. We're both like glued to our phones, yet like it is so exhausting for us to like hang out with each other. Like we'll probably hang out like 4 times, maybe like 4 times a year, and it'll just
Yeah.
be like our annual like seasonal like get together kind of thing.
Your quarterly get together.
Yeah, our quarterly get together exactly. And be like, all right, let's go grab dinner or something like that at the same restaurant because we're both comfortable there, and I don't want to run into anybody that we know in town.
Yeah. I think the way to go about stuff is the significant other or the friend. If you're the person dating somebody, then it's the friend. If you're the person that's the friend, the significant other is welcome at anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not, then it's ethical, I think. Like my friends that are
Totally
married and
ethical.
stuff, it's like, hey, if your husband wants to come to anything, he's welcome. That'd be great. The exception that I give is if that person is abusive or
I'm
like
very inclusive of couples and everything like that. I just never get invited to shit half the time, and I'm like fine with it.
that is a
I see
thing.
my friends and everything like that, like go to like people's weddings and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, we like roomed together and everything like that for a while and everything like that. And I've known you all throughout high school. I've been there for you for some pretty pivotal times that even introduced you to like your husband who you're about to marry, but I'm not invited to your wedding. I was like, all right. I was like, that's fine. I was like, we can play this game.
That's pretty rough. It's hitting me this year really hard the past few months, especially is the feeling of being left behind as everybody moves forward
Do
with
you feel that
life.
way because you're 29, or do you feel that way is because people are hitting these milestones and you just see it's not feasible, basically?
Both, I would say. It's
Uh-huh.
definitely a combination.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's not quarter life crisis, or I don't know what you call it, but like, turning 30 is a factor, I would imagine. But honestly,
Dude, I'll tell you, turning 30 is fucking amazing.
well, that's
It
the
is
thing
your
is like,
20s with fucking more money, basically.
that
And
sounds
you have
horrible.
such more like a head on your shoulders and everything like that. You can see like manipulative people a mile a fucking away and be like, no fucking thank you. I've been down this road before at 25 and my brain's solidified. Fuck this. I'm out.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, honestly, I like aging for the most part.
I don't like hurting, but I like aging.
Yeah, well, there's such a peace to aging. I don't really get upset
hmm
about things. I don't dislike people. I don't have any of
I
like,
always think it's funny when people like apologize for making me wait for like something, and I'm like, why are you apologizing? I was like, I'm here to like, get this thing, and
mhm.
I'm fine until like I'm cool chilling, like you're good kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess that it's one thing going off the meds though. I am definitely more aggressive again. I've definitely
You have
noticed
to channel
that.
that.
Yeah,
This
no,
is a
I
good
like
thing.
it. Like that's a funny thing. Like someone said something to me today and apologized, which is nice. And it's
Oh,
hard to apologize. I get
is
that,
that why
but
you're running more?
I didn't take. No, I don't think so. It's just
No.
a borderline eating disorder kind of shit. Just body
Oh,
dysmorphia.
dude,
Just
I fucking get that shit. My mom used to say that her kitchen was closed to me at 7 o'clock at night. So,
mm-hmm.
like, either I would binge or I would get home from work at like 9 and close myself in the pantry and just binge eat basically until I puked. And I had a
I
bathroom in my bedroom. So, like, I'd close the door basically and stay in there for like 2 hours just like puking.
Yeah, it's a thing where I can only binge eat. That's a big reason I fast as
Hmm.
well because I
But
can't.
that coincides with what? Like your is it 8 hours that you have to eat?
No, I just do one meal most days.
Oh, you do one meal.
That's
That's
what I
great.
try to do is just one big meal, and even then it doesn't hit my caloric goals. It's like still like typically like maybe 2,000 calories.
Okay.
It's like eating way too much for one meal, but not
What's
enough
your
for the whole
go-to?
day. Usually just like eggs with something else in it, and then yogurt, an apple, and like a protein bar or
Ooh,
something.
yeah. So
But
pretty much standard stuff.
yeah, and well, the big thing is the fear of aging, and like I don't say negative stuff because like these people they have families, they've got other kind of jobs that don't allow them the lifestyle I have, but they look 50 to me. Like people I graduate high school with and stuff, they
Yeah.
look old,
I
and
was just telling somebody about people in the town that I was in for like 5 years, how like they like looked older than they were, but they were like 24, and I was like, Jesus Christ, seek counseling. Like,
yeah,
stop railing fucking coke behind my back and everything like that, and maybe you won't look like Tom Waits.
yeah,
I was like, but I
exactly.
don't know, dude. Are you sure you're 24? Like, I'm 31. That's like a huge age gap. I was like, you look like you're decaying.
Yeah, no, it's scary, and don't get me wrong, like I I hate the thing was like oh this person like especially celebrities. Can you believe that Jessica Alba isn't like doesn't look the same as she's like yeah she's
I
people.
can believe that. And also, I'm pretty sure I dated somebody who like gave her a massage or something like that. And now he like does massage therapy for like the Philadelphia Flyers. So while I'm
Oh,
very proud of that, I still knew him when he was at Hampton Stone. So he should
nice.
be humble. And
But
when he couldn't take out the trash in her house.
but
But
no,
you know,
it's
I'm projecting.
I I always hear it though where they're like, oh, can you believe this person gained weight after 10 years? Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I would expect them to. I think it's
Yeah,
funny though when like my ex-boyfriends gain a lot of weight and like have a daughter though, because that's what I've been cursing and putting upon all of them for like the past like 10 years basically. And I'm like, oh, and I run into them, I'm like, I'm not surprised you have a daughter and that you gained 25 pounds, you fat fuck. I was like, enjoy having a daughter, treat her better than you did me.
that's actually a cool idea for a character. I don't know how you could do a story around it, but
Oh,
like
I could do an Ash
a
Wednesday behind that,
a
no problem.
witch. I guess that could even just be like one facet of the character. But yeah, she makes the men that she dates all have daughters.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea. That's a cool superpower.
I think it's a phenomenal thing.
I outlined a story years ago called Crazy Cat Lady, where a guy's
Ooh.
dating a girl and she warns him she's got like a bunch of cats, and they're
Uh-huh.
all like very like they're like hissing
Now,
at
when
him
we
and
say a
aggressive.
bunch of cats, do we mean more than four?
Yes,
Oof.
I was thinking
Yeesh.
like maybe
7.
or
My
8. I don't
friend
know,
has 9.
but a significant amount. Like,
Hmm.
and they're aggressive towards him, and he's like, I really like this girl, but these cats are all like assholes. And then
My cat likes the cock block.
the twist is that all the cats, which getting into cock blocking, the cats are all she turned all of her ex boyfriends into cats.
Oh, into cats?
Yeah. So then it's
Wow.
like, oh no, I can't break up with this girl because she'll turn me into a cat. And then the other twist is that they were all dudes who treated her like shit. So actually, she was
Hmm.
kind of the victim, and just her revenge on them.
But think
And
about how much a cat is. Like, cats are plentiful and cute and everything like that. And I would much rather be a cat than a stinky person that would break someone's heart. Wouldn't you? I would want that.
yeah,
Sounds like everybody wins.
no, cat life's pretty decent.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, on times that I do stay home and everything like that, and my cat and I just snuggle in bed, my
Hmm.
cat is fucking asleep for, like, most of the goddamn day. And I have to poke him awake because he looks dead half the time.
I've done that with my. I wake up in the middle of the night and I look over and I'm like, oh my god.
Mine looks like he gets hit by a car and he's just, like, flat on his back. I'm like, bro, you are too comfortable. I was like, remember when you slept outside that one night? I was like, remember?
He sleeps paws up?
He sleeps, like, on his back paws up, like a dog.
That's
He's just,
insane.
he's got a fucking crisis. He doesn't know what he is.
No.
I know you don't know what you are, baby. You don't know. You know.
Yeah, my cat. It's funny because I kind of had to teach him how to
To be a cat.
cuddle. where he didn't understand that it took him like years, and he's getting better at it even to
How
this
many
day.
years did it take? Because my cat and I just started snuggling and cuddling maybe about a year and a half ago, and I've had him for almost 4 years.
I would
But like
say,
I just kind of left him like to his own devices, and I made
yeah,
sure to give him plenty of space and be respectful because I noticed he wasn't getting that in his last home, and how much he actually my cat's like terrified of women. I found out.
that's interesting. I wonder what that implication
Loves
is.
men to death. Like any guy that walks in,
Hmm.
instant like panty dropper for my cat. But like with women, he's so standoffish. Like hates my mom, rightfully so. Um, just can sense like evil a mile away when it comes to the female gaze. And I'm like,
Hmm.
cool. Very much into men. Noted.
Yeah, my cat. I noticed that he likes boobs.
He likes boobs.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he just I lived with a woman for
Who
I guess a
doesn't?
couple women for a while, and he would always sleep on their boobs.
Oh. It's kind of crazy having something that heavy on your chest while you sleep, and like it almost is death defying.
That makes a lot of. I never thought about that laying on your back and how different that must feel.
Oh yeah, I'm a side sleeper, or I'll have like a pillow, or if I'm not like pressed up against somebody, it's purely so I can breathe throughout the night.
No, I'm a side sleeper for
Hmm.
sure.
Did we answer all your questions, or did we get hella sidetracked?
We got really sidetracked. I don't even remember what the
That's fine.
questions are.
I figured we would.
Yeah, much faster than expected, honestly.
Oh, we try.
Yeah, no, I don't care. It's not like Larry King or something.
No, definitely not.
Well, isn't that a crazy thing
I'm
too?
not
How
that
like,
funny.
isn't it crazy how we live in a time where like people can like? There's times I do it where like I put something on the internet and I'm like, is this even good? Like that you can just do this? You can just do whatever the fuck you want and show the
I
world.
think it's how it should be, but like, should everybody do it? Probably not.
Yeah, I think it's great that it can be done. Like I'm very anti
Hmm.
censorship. Like I think there's things you shouldn't do ethically, but I don't want somebody telling me I can't do it. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Um,
Like you can have an opinion, but goddamn you if you shove it down my throat.
yes. Yeah, I'm so I always mourn the days of curiosity and disagreement. That's something that I really miss from when I was younger.
I think that involves more outside time for every man, woman, and child on this earth. And
Yeah.
I pass my like because I drive to like one of my jobs like it's like an hour away.
Hmm.
Um, and it's great. I It's a great program, so it's like really worth it to me. And it's also like one of my highest paying like jobs or whatever. I just got a promotion for it and like a bunch of new
Oh,
students, so
congrats.
I'm like super jazzed about it. But I cannot help notice how many people that drive the same route that I do that are like glued to their phone the entire time they're driving their car. And I'm like,
That's
it is always a
horrifying.
miracle that I can make it to class alive
Yeah.
because everyone is being so distracted all the time.
Well,
And like for 5 minutes, you can't like not look at your fucking phone.
I will admit that like I've had that before myself. Like I don't do it,
Mm-hmm.
but I've felt the temptation.
Mm.
It's that thing where you're driving and like I'll have maps on or something, so the screen's
Yeah.
on and it's in the
I
little
have like
phone
a
holder
mount
thing.
now, but
That's
like
the
that's
mount.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
And
have it on the
then like you
mount
can
with
like talk
maps.
to it and all kinds of shit. And like now like I have this like Bluetooth that where like it charges my phone, so it's like great. Like my phone is never dead.
That's really cool. I don't know how technology works. I'm still using like wired headphones and a wired
I like
charger
those,
and
but when I got wireless headphones and things like that, holy shit, it was so nice just to be able to walk around my house, go do stuff, and then um,
well,
not have to be attached with a cord. Like I can leave my phone upstairs, like charging, and I can go downstairs and like change my laundry, basically, but still
oh, I
have a
never even thought
conversation with
about
you.
that.
It's just a little more freedom.
Well, it makes sense because like the wires suck. I mean,
Yeah, but I have blown through two pairs of wireless headphones in 2 years. So like I use it quite frequently. I think they're like $150. They're Sony's. And I
mhm.
shit you not, I have these on standby. I don't even have an Amazon account, but I have like two kind of in the chamber just in
Hmm.
case anything happens that I have to like express order them like immediately because I'll die if I don't have these,
That's
basically. If the
that's
world will be too much for me to bear, and I'll be like, okay, I need to just like ignore everything.
that is why I've stuck with the wired ones because I think there's Sony as well. I believe
Hmm.
there's Sony or Panasonic.
I
But
really like Sony products, and I don't even get that particular about shit.
no, these are like cheap ass like $13 Sony earbuds. I got them in 2018,
Ooh,
and they
and they
still
still
work.
last.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's like the best quality I've ever heard. It doesn't make, and I spent like $100 on earbuds before and stuff. I don't
I used
understand
to,
how they're
oh,
so
in high
good.
school, I used to get
Skull
those like
candy.
skull candy ones.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my God, yes.
yeah. No, those are like the fancy ones. Those are like the bougie earbuds back
Yeah,
then.
the earbuds, but also I get the ones like the over the ear ones that like they like crunched or whatever and like got like really compact and small.
Oh, I didn't even know about those.
Yeah, I get black and gold ones the entire time, and I think I went through at high school. I went through like 8 or 9 pairs of those. I think it was because the boy that I liked at the time had them, and I wanted to be just like him. But not an asshole.
Well, that's not, like those skull candy earbuds. Like they'd be great, and then they would break after like 2 or 3 months.
I think it's great also that like I have all my little neurodivergent friends too. They just pop in their AirPods and like they can like be functional human beings all of a sudden and I'm just like sitting there and I'm just like my heart is so filled the fact that you can clean your house just because you're like listening to music and like puttering around basically.
That's really funny. That's how I am. Where like I I'm trying to learn to just
Hmm.
be more mindful. Living with people where it's like, okay, don't play your music when doing the dishes or whatever. But
Yeah. Like I have vinyl players and things like that. I think we both do. And then it's like you want to be mindful and everything like that and like respectful of like people's spaces and like times to use the bathroom and stuff like that and just like weird
yeah,
things that you wouldn't like account for if like you would just have your own space. But
exactly.
I
But
think it's great because it kind of gives you a schedule kind of thing.
yeah, but I can't function without music or a podcast or
Hmm.
something.
I
I
like a lot of alone time, and I think
same.
when people live with me I'm shocked by that.
Yeah, I think people take it personally and don't like. There's times where even like if I'm like in the living room or something, I live with people and they think I'm angry, and it's like, no, I just need to just you know
Chill out.
exist. Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. And that's why I like living with people. I really don't want to live alone. I think that would get very scary very quickly. Not like
It's not for everybody. It was really nice for a bit usually, and then like I always like crave like I don't know, human interaction maybe.
yeah, I lived alone in college for a little bit. I had a
Did you like
roommate
it?
and he dropped out.
Hmm.
I kind of liked it, but it was also very
Yeah.
sad sometimes. It was in like an apartment
Mm.
complex too, and it hit me like I
Okay.
just didn't like it. I like living with people.
Hmm.
I like that's why I like having a cat because
Yeah.
um, the days can be so much the same that when you have other things that are different out of your control, um, I don't know.
My
I just
cat
think it's
also
healthy.
helps me a lot with like my anxiety and everything like that. And I was just telling my
Hmm.
friend that I was like, I don't think if it wasn't for my cat, I don't think I'd be like alive half the time.
No, I
Like I live
definitely
very
had
much
that.
for that cat.
I completely understand. It's a big thing for me where it's like nothing can happen to me because somebody has to
Because
take
who
care
would
of
take
Lyle.
care of him?
Yeah,
Exactly.
and he's such a weird cat that I don't know if he could have a different owner than me.
I'm sure my cat would move on, but I don't think he would want to.
Yeah, I
I
think.
think that anyway.
Yeah, I guess mine. He might be manipulative. He might
Hmm.
know that like I think we have this special broship, but actually, you know,
Little do you know.
yeah, somebody brings some food along, and all of a sudden he's not so sad.
I forget who said that to me, but they were like, "Oh, like if you died, like Banner wouldn't care." I'm like, "Oh, shut the fuck up. He would know." I was like, "He doesn't even like it when I'm asleep and I'm not touching him." I was like, "I think he would know."
Yeah, one of the proudest cat dad moments I ever had was I was between apartments. I was living with a bunch of other people, and they really only two of them had contact with the landlord for most of the time.
Hmm.
We just never needed to. We lived in another country.
Yeah.
And then they had lied about the move
Well,
out
that
date
makes
and
it convenient.
everything. It was really nice. We really lucked
No
out.
house checks.
None.
Was there cameras or anything like that?
Um, no, there was a sign on the door that the place was being videotaped for surveillance because it was like kind of a shitty neighborhood. But
Uh-huh.
that was not true. There was no camera.
Oh, okay.
But
Gotcha. That's funny.
no, they lied about the move out date and everything. So like our we had like U-Hauls coming that were
Uh-huh.
at too late, so we had to reschedule U-Hauls, and I had to stay with friends for a couple days
Oh,
in
that's kind of
between.
mildly annoying.
And yeah, no, it was just for no reason. Like I was nice to those people. They just decided to be
Yeah.
assholes when we decided not to live together anymore.
Ugh.
It was like their decision too. But anyhow, I my cat was hiding under a bed. That's his move, is to hide under the bed when he's
Okay.
scared.
Yeah.
And he was hiding under my friend's bed, and I came out and I was talking, and then he came out when he heard my voice,
Hmm.
and that was like a proud cat
Yeah,
dad
he
moment. I
definitely
was like,
likes you, clearly.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I get the humor in the whole like cats don't care about us; they're just using us thing. I get it because cats
I feel
are
like
very
people do that.
yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Like, who are we to, like, jeopardize cats? Shit.
Yeah, I think people do it a lot more than cats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cats have a lot more loyalty than people.
Yes. I think pets in general. I'm, like, a big believer in animals are just inherently better than humans.
I don't know about better, but different.
Much better.
Well, I think the thing with animals is especially domestic ones. I definitely could see a difference there
Mm-hmm.
because like I don't know if like a snake or something or an alligator. Like I've seen what they do to people.
Dude, no lie, I want something in a tank so damn badly.
You want something in a
I want
tank?
I want something in a tank. I don't care what it be. If it's a snake, if it's a gecko, if it's something. I
You,
was like, I need
yeah,
something
go
mobile
gecko.
that I can go gecko.
Yeah,
I hear you go gecko, you go home with one.
yeah.
I don't
Um,
know what I would name it. Probably Miles. Something
Miles is
like
good.
a really cool name.
I had a leopard gecko,
Or
and it
something
was
with a
pretty
G, like
awesome.
GG. A
Yeah,
leopard gecko.
yeah, yeah. My brother had
They
one as
seem cool.
well.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Do, how long do they last? I hear they're I watched one and her tail was like about to fall off and I got worried that I wasn't gonna get paid for the job.
yeah.
They also had like a
I,
chameleon that was like free range in the apartment. It was
that's kind of
bizarre.
scary
Yeah.
because
I
you could
think the
just be
gecko's name
like,
was Chloe. One of them was named Chloe. I
yeah,
think Chloe was a chameleon. That makes sense.
that's funny. Yeah, the leopard he lasted years. He was along quite a while.
Okay, so
Um,
they're hardy, is what you're saying.
yeah, the thing that I've had, and I've talked to other people who've had leopard gecko survivors, and their deaths are very traumatic. They're always rough
Really?
deaths. Yeah, I don't
That's
know what
awful.
it is. Yeah, that's the one thing I'd warn against. But no, it's
I don't even want to think about the day that that happens to Banner.
no, I don't think about it at all with my cat. I mean,
I can't, but like I know if it happens, like it'll happen, but I'm stuffing my cat.
yeah,
Like I'm gonna taxidermy the shit out of him in like a cool position,
my
and he's just gonna like
grandfather,
live on my mantle.
my grandfather used to be a taxidermist. So if my cat dies before my grandfather, I think I could get a pretty good deal.
Ooh, sign me up, sign us up.
Okay, yeah,
I think Banner's like 13. I know he has much more time to go,
yeah. That's the
but
thing. Cats live to be like 20.
I had no fucking idea when I signed on for this
I
shit.
didn't
I was just
either.
like, oh my god, you need a home.
I was thinking like
And
maybe
I'm like,
like
oh my god, you're still here.
yeah, no, I thought it was like 8 years
I'm happy
maybe.
about it, but I'm like, Jesus Christ, we've been at this for 4 years.
Yeah, I was like you said. It was like when I got him, I was like I didn't know I was gonna be alive in 20 years. Now I have to
Yeah,
fucking
I mean,
stick around
I've
to
had
feed
some
you.
friends where like their one cat, dude. I had a friend, I think, I don't know how this happened, but the cat like grew up with him, and it was like 31 when it passed away, and
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
bro, I was like, She's such a cranky old lady. She needs to pass.
Yeah, no, the cat's in a wheelchair and eventually just laying in a
Yeah,
deathbed.
just like bullshit. And I'm just like, no, there's no way that this cat is happy right now.
No, that's almost the worst part is when they're old and you know it's coming and you know they're not happy,
Yeah,
but you're hanging on.
yeah. Even if it's a person too, I'm just like, nope, it's time.
That is
Get, get.
true. I have some family members and it's just very sad. And, I don't want them to
Yeah.
pass on or anything, but
I haven't
there's just
had a
that
funeral in my
feeling of
family since 2001. I was like, we are due for one.
that is that is awesome. That it is a
Someone gotta
weird
die.
thing because each year there is that thing where it's like, is this a year
I'll
that
do it.
someone's gonna die?
I hope so. I hope a bunch of my family just kind of kicks it. That way I'll feel actually comfortable coming around again.
I think that's a big thing for me with my fatalism is I don't want to live through my family dying. So
Mm.
it's easier and even beyond family, like friends, just everybody. Because eventually, pretty
How would
much,
you die?
how would I
Or
die?
how do you think you're gonna die? Like I think I'm
Hmm.
dying in a car accident or definitely not like natural causes, but if I do
I
die, I want to put like bits and pieces of my like flesh and body in like the refreshments and like bury an empty casket basically, like an empty wood casket. That way people can take me home with them
that's very
and
thoughtful.
ship me out. I think it's
Yeah,
methodical and it's been my plan since I was like 10. I think I wrote it down in like a short story and my teacher was like, "We have to call you into the cares office again." And I was like, "No, do we have to?"
I
I was like, "It's a joke." Clearly, I don't mean it exactly like
yeah.
that. I was like, "You can put me in a to-go box and take me home."
I don't know. I'm probably just gonna die some boring way. I'll probably like I'm probably cancer. I'm guessing.
You think? Does it run in your family?
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
it
That's
is
not the
what
way
it
you
is.
go.
But that's a long time. So who knows? That might not even
Oh,
be as much of a
I don't
thing.
know.
But I would like to just like
People be dying earlier and earlier these days,
no.
apparently.
I've been hoping lately for a Donnie Darko situation. I get a get out of life free card where like
Ooh.
a plane engine just crushes me in my bed. Like
That's right. Dude, there's some people that I still know that don't understand that movie, and it gets me mad.
I like the movie, but it's a hard one to go back and rewatch.
Uh-huh.
Um, because of the director's cut. In like,
I've seen the director's cut and I've seen both. And the
yeah,
director's one just blows you away.
no, it's a thing where like I don't know, it's such a different movie, and then I always think about like, did the editor make this movie? What is this? And it's interesting and it's a good movie. I think it's a good
I
movie to
like the
teach
idea of
for that
director's
reason.
cut things, but I don't like the idea. I forget which movie it was. Maybe it was Batman versus Superman. I still have not fucking watched that movie.
Hmm.
The director's cut is over 4 hours long.
Oh,
I'll die
Justice
before I see
League.
a 4 hour. I'll die before I see a 4 hour fucking movie. I love movies to death, but a two
Yeah,
hour is my limit, and my attention span starts to go 15 minutes in half the time, and I need to be like regulated,
no,
basically, to be like, all right, refocus. You love this movie, like shut up and watch it, kind
it's
of
funny.
thing.
I have seen that movie, and I've seen a few four-hour
I
movies, but
couldn't.
I have the same thing anymore. I have rules now. Like, I can't watch movies longer than 2 hours or with subtitles anymore. And I
Really.
love foreign movies. I love long movies. I've always watched them. But the thing
I
is,
can do subtitles for certain languages. Ones that I don't know very well, I'll ask for subtitles usually. Like I'm learning Portuguese, so I
oh,
always
cool.
like to put subtitles on for that. But for Russian, that's fair game. I can be
Hmm.
in the next room and hear what's going on and still follow the story.
That's really impressive.
It is very cool. I like watching John Wick in Russian. It's very fun. But it's also
I
because I know it in English, so it's just like it's kind of like things like that.
that help. No, like I love foreign movies. It's and I
Mm,
wouldn't watch them dubbed. I prefer the subtitles. It's just that
yeah.
I spend so much of my time reading on a computer screen at work or with like, the publishing house or whatever.
Mhm.
All that or writing on a computer that then reading words on a computer
Yeah.
or on the TV even. It just feels like work anymore.
Hmm.
Whereas when I worked at like a loading dock or retail, it was different. I'd come home and I'd love to do that. But
I
it,
think it's like very methodical and it's nice.
yeah.
I used to work like backstock at like Anthropology, and I'd get in at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and like the store wouldn't open until like 9 or 10. So I most of my shift would be without people,
Hmm.
and it was fantastic. I'd throw on headphones, and it gave me access to those like little things that take like those like security tags off.
Hmm.
Don't give a 19-year-old that. She'll steal things. Like full disclosure, like I have so much fucking articles from Anthropology that I never paid for as a kid.
That's really
I had
funny.
like
Like what?
$250 jeans that I just put underneath my jeans and just walked out the store with that. And I was like, you're dumb as fuck for doing this. But I was like, I was very efficient at my job. They just never seemed to have anything in size 28 jeans. Shocker. They were
Yeah.
on my waist and I was walking out that door with them. And
That's fu-
I never got caught. I think I tell this story often. And I love the fact that I could get away with that shit.
you said it in your exit interview.
I should have, but I was never given an exit interview.
Yeah, I don't know if all places. It's funny. Like I worked at Walmart for the longest time. I
Did
lied
they give
about
you
it.
one?
Yeah, they gave me an exit interview at Walmart.
Cool. I would want an exit interview when like I go to leave Walmart.
Yeah.
They'd be
Well,
like, "How is your shopping experience?" I'm like, "Probably mid, mediocre
oh
at best."
yeah.
And they'll be like, "I'm sorry you feel that way."
I get those when I shop. I just give it a 5 every time, even though it's not usually a 5.
Five Below does that, and I always give them a 8 because I literally look around and I'm like, "Y'all could be doing your job."
Oh well, that's what drives me crazy. Like having it's like if you're a
Because now all of a
waiter
sudden Five Below
and
cracked down on that shit, and I'm like, it's because they have things that aren't just $5 anymore.
is
They're
that
upping their
so?
game. Yep, now they're just like above five and up.
Oh shit. That's
It's a
when you know
lie.
the economy's going downhill. Well, we're
When
just going
Five Below's
uphill.
upping their prices.
Yeah.
It's 5.75 now. What the fuck? Where's the 75 come from? The dollar store did the same fucking thing.
Next thing you
I don't
know, it's
want to
gonna be 10
hear from
below.
these older generations. I don't understand why I can't afford a house. Well, Ethel, because your name is still Ethel. Get fucked, first of all. Second of all, go die. Maybe I can inherit your house. I think every old person needs a young person that they should like take on in like life. Not so much as like
Yeah.
an apprentice, but I just think it should be like, hey, you. I pick you.
Adopt an adult.
Yeah, adopt an adult, basically. Adopt a millennial.
They could become a benefactor, pretty much.
I want to be a benefactor so badly. Anyone with a
Yeah.
401k and some life insurance, hit me up. You don't need that shit when you're dead.
Well, no, it's funny. Like you read about like the old artists and stuff, and they all had that. They all had like the sponsor or whatever, and it's like,
uh, yeah, I read about stuff like that because like I do teach art history and stuff like
mhm,
that. When my students ask about this stuff, I tell them 95% of the time, like the actual fact is like half the time modern art, in certain times, especially in time of war, was just a way to funnel a shit ton of fucking money through something,
yeah,
through war efforts and things like that. So while that pretty painting in Rothko is delicious and probably worth like 8.6 million trillion dollars, all that money went to the war.
yeah. No, I like Jackson Pollock and all that shit.
Yeah, all those
Um,
guys and everything.
I've heard that with modern art. That's the theory is that it's all money laundering. So it's a way to like write off this transaction on your taxes, but really you're giving it for drugs or something else.
As it should be.
Yeah, no, I'm not even mad about it.
Nah, the cartel needs to know. I think they have fine taste in art.
Who does?
The drug cartel.
Yeah, very tasteful people.
Ooh.
They're
Oh
buying
yeah.
like the Scarface poster for $5 million.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah,
I think it would fit the space
it brings
nicely.
the room together.
It really does.
That picture of Michael Corleone's Scarface and Tony Soprano playing pool together. Really, this
Oh,
makes the
that sounds.
pizzeria.
Oh, I could see that. Like
Yeah,
really popping off at like one of those like pizzeria places where like there's like one by like my old house where like you need to like order it like 3 weeks in advance.
you
And
gotta
I think it's
pre-order the
really funny
pizza.
because I I think like it's what it is like how like you have like it's like shoes or something like that. Like you
Hmm.
have like classic like shoes that come out like for like one time like a month or something like that. It's like they'll have pizza, like a certain kind of pizza like that'll come out for like that month or whatever. But I think it's really dumb because when I have pizza, I'm ravenous and craving
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, no, like it's 10 o'clock at night. Like I need pizza or I'm gonna like kill somebody and die. I'm not gonna want it in 3 weeks from now.
No, pizzas aren't something
So
you
like it
plan
that place
for.
like never appealed to me. I think I look at it and I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't get it.
There is always it's like the opposite of I guess it's maybe the same as like post nut clarity with like pizza, post pizza clarity, where you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh god, what have I
Yeah,
done?
what have I done?
It's probably how
Exactly.
people feel after they kill their first victim, where they're like looking at themselves like, oh
I hear they feel
Jesus.
euphoria.
There's only one way to find out. I mean, if pizza's as good as that is, and it makes me feel like shit after, then
A lot of things make me feel like that, like chocolate for one thing. I
yeah,
love it in the moment, hate it after, or popcorn.
yeah. No,
Sorry,
isn't that
I
the
love it. Right, I love popcorn like immediately, and then I look down and I'm like, wow, there's no more popcorn.
I had a big phase where I separated everything in my life into immediate gratification versus like rewarding long term.
Whoa, is that
And
called something?
I don't know.
Huh. I
That's
feel
just
like that should be called
it
something.
probably is, and I probably heard it from something, but I've just forgotten.
I used to sort things a lot as a kid too.
Really,
Yeah, like all
like
my like M&Ms and M's and things like that, or I would like rearrange like my food and everything like that. And anything like sweet, I would save for last because I was terrified that, well, I wanted to always end on a high note, I think. And
yeah.
then like the sweet was like supposed to be like saved for like a special occasion kind of thing.
Are you those people like tries to save the best bite for last?
Mm, definitely one of
Yeah.
those people. But like I try to implement that in like anything really. Or like I'll look at a cookie in the refrigerator and I'll just be like, that looks really good. And then like 3 weeks will pass and the cookie's already like dried up and like decayed. And I'm like, wow, that cookie would have been really good like 3 weeks ago. I just was like too much of a bitch really to drink it and eat it kind of thing.
That makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have that a lot with like cravings. What
Mm-hmm.
happens is I'll crave something and then I won't act on it, and then a couple of days later I'll be like, you know what? I really wanted that and I
Yeah.
didn't act on it, so now I'm gonna reward myself by doing it now that the craving's passed.
Yep. I'm like that with potato chips.
Oh, I'm obsessed. That's
So
the
you like your
one.
30s. Your 30s is when you start going after the savory foods and to hell with the sweets. Like I can't remember. I think I had a cookie the other day and I was like, this is all right.
Yeah, no, I like
But what I really want is some table salt on my tongue
yeah,
or some
no,
pretzels.
like I like candy bars and stuff, but I don't really care about them.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, no one really cares
yeah,
for
but like chips, all the
usually
different
they're like pretty
flavors
artificial
too.
and sweet.
Yeah, like there's some days there's like a what is it, a salt and vinegar chip day, or like then you want
Oh
like one of the
yeah.
hot chips. Um,
My go-to favorite snack are hot fries. I don't know if you know what they are.
I do. I don't think I've ever had them
Okay.
though.
I love hot fries. And it's really gross because I hate the way that they make my fingers feel. Like the
Hmm.
texture thing is like so wrong. But I absolutely love them.
Like not the like it's not like it gets dust on your fingers, but the way that your finger, the way they feel to touch, right?
Yeah, it's like that sandpapery feel. Like I don't like that.
Oh yeah, that's my
I'm
thing.
like
Like
that with a lot of things. It's weird.
yeah, Cheetos. That's my thing with those is like, or even Doritos. Like I like
Oh,
eating
yeah.
them,
So
but then they get the dust on you, and I hate it.
Never had that. Puffy, cheesy things freak me out.
Really.
But I think it was like I think for some reason I was looking at like an Applebee's menu one time
Hmm.
and like a whole page of the stuff was like Cheeto dusted like items.
Oh, that makes me
And
want
I
to
was
puke.
like, yeah, and I was like, and then I think I remember
Oh wait, wait,
saying to
wait.
the
The
person,
items
I was
on the
like,
menu. were Cheeto dusted.
Yeah, so
Oh,
like
I
yeah.
thought you meant the menu had Cheeto dust. Like somebody ate Cheetos and I was flipping through it.
Oh, maybe,
Someone
but like
else's
no, it
Cheeto
was like it was
dust.
like a breaded chicken cutlet with like flaming hot Cheetos or something like that. And I think I
Yeah,
remember
that's
just telling the
gross.
person I was like, no, no, thank you.
Yeah, I've noticed that now. Like everything's like Cheeto. They have the flaming hot Mountain Dew and stuff like that. And it's like maybe we've gone too
Flaming hot
far.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, it's like flaming hot
Wow.
Cheetos Mountain Dews or something outrageous like that.
I the only soda I really like is like old people soda. Like I love root beer. I like root
Root
beer
beer's
floats. I
great.
like sarsaparilla. I like cream soda and
What about ginger beer?
oh, so where I bartend, we have ginger beer on the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And my God, it's so great.
Yeah.
Um, what do I make? Oh, so my favorite go-to non-alcoholic drink has always been a cranberry juice with seltzer and lime. So I sub out the seltzer for ginger beer and
Mm-hmm.
put a generous amount of cranberry juice, a lime wedge, and then I have access to all kinds of fucking syrups and everything like that. So I do a pump of ginger syrup and then I do a pump of, and then I do like a squirt of like lemon juice and everything like that. And that's like my go-to like shift drink basically is like to keep me awake. That's like not coffee based. But oh yeah, ginger beer is phenomenal.
It's too good. It's like the kind of
It's almost
thing.
like we don't deserve such nice things. But I remember the
Yeah.
first time I used it, I think when I bartended at this place, it was like a distillery in Pipersville. It was like 45 minutes outside of the city and I think I was traveling just about that, just to go bartend at like some like little rinky dink place. But they
Mm-hmm.
had these like Gosling ginger beers and they paired it with like their vodka or something like that. And it was like phenomenal. So good. I can't remember if I wasn't drinking back then. Um, Probably not. Every time I bartended, I've always been sober when I'm doing it because I'm a masochist.
That's smart. That's the way to go. Um,
Yeah. Oh, it's
I
eleven
was.
eleven, Todd. Make a
Oh,
wish.
nice. We did it.
We can. I wish that we go to our 2 hour mark. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I
What is the 2 hour
agree.
mark? I don't even.
We're at a minute 57, 53, 54. Or an hour and 57 seconds or 57 minutes.
That sounds
I
about
couldn't keep
right.
track. It's been a very
Speaking of
long day off.
Applebee's, I was there at it was Marine's bachelorette party and her husband's bachelor party.
Ooh.
Like kind of they were both there, so it was like which honestly was like much better, I think.
I
And
think
this
that's how you should do it. I'm always like, well,
yeah.
I'll probably never get married, but like, I think that's always so silly to have separate parties. Like, you're gonna get married. Like, what? First of all, it's cheaper to
I,
throw one
I
party.
think it
Second of all,
I think it depends cuz like they have a lot of mutual friends, I think.
uh-huh.
So
So like, they
like
had to kind of pick and choose.
yeah, well, it kind of makes sense to go together.
Yeah.
No, I hate that. Like, it is the thing where it's like, fuck, I'm probably not gonna get married. Or it was like, oh, I'll get married and have kids. And it's like, okay, maybe I won't have kids, but I'll get married. And now it's like, ah, fuck, I'm not getting married.
Do you think that was gonna like happen maybe like by like 25? And if it didn't happen by 25, you're like, nah, it's not in the cards.
That was definitely the plan.
Hmm.
Was around 25, and then
I sometimes still like catch myself playing with the thought of having a kid, and I'll be like, no, you silly kid, you can't do that.
yeah, I mean,
I was like,
I'm open minded
you're
to it,
unstable as fuck.
but yeah, that's an issue. Being an artist is an issue because
I
artists are
would
very
love
selfish
to
people.
have um to pass those traits down to a kid. I don't want the other shit though, because it's like an all or none kind of thing.
Right.
It's not like you can kind of customize and pick and choose.
Yeah.
And then God help me if I gave birth to like a Libra or something like that. I would end up killing it and trying again.
Just got to plan. You got to think nine
I
months
could
ahead.
probably just like order one at one point. If we're gonna be sending people up into space and everything like that, just to avoid healthcare, why not just like order one from like Amazon
Yeah, that's true. It'll be
or
like
like the cage
Grubhub for
system or
babies.
something like that? Oh yeah,
Stork, it could be called.
we could bring back the stork.
Yeah.
He's been gone for so long.
Yeah, I haven't heard stork in a long time, but now that I think about it, I've never been in a conversation where somebody would need to reference the stork being an adult.
He's out there. I just think he kind of preys on children, and that's how we get them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He's a menace
He's
to
watching outside
society.
the hospitals, and then he takes the babies coming out, picks them up, and delivers
I
them.
always fear, dude. All right, this will be the last thing, and then I'll stop talking your ear off, and then we can go to sleep.
Okay,
Um, I am terrified that I got switched at birth all the time.
I've had
And if
that
it
fear
wasn't the
before.
fact that I look so goddamn look like my father with my mom's hair, I would have questioned it several times over. I'd be like, ah, there's a fucking mistake. But I'm
That's
pretty sure they made a show about that.
probably they've made a lot of shows, so I'd imagine they've gotten to that
I think
concept
ABC
eventually.
Family kind of capitalized on like the early 2000s on like any possible thing that could have happened already. So we may not
Yeah,
have to worry about it. And then that TV program, I think they imploded and became absorbed into something else. So now they just play Harry Potter movies,
that's really weird. That's a weird thing to think about
right?
because I haven't watched TV in so long. Like TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like ABC Family, it was always a thing. Like Christmas, they play a Christmas movie every day, or
They
Halloween, they
get
do.
Christmas music or Halloween stuff. Gilmore Girls is the shit. I thought Lorelai was the coolest mom ever because she was a young mom and had her own business. And she
Yeah.
could do it all, but also like heavily relied on her parents, like most millennial people. And I was like, "Wow, this is if this ain't fucking relatable."
What's funny because watching those shows, like I only saw a few episodes. My stepsister watched it when I was younger, and I just
I think
remember
it's
like
phenomenal.
catching
If you've
some of
ever
them.
had an older sister, watch it. I've never had an older sister, and that's why I can't do hair, and I'm an abomination to the world of women. But if I did have an older sister, I think
Mm.
I would be much more like poised. We
Yeah,
just raw dogging
I,
femininity out here.
I, yeah, I had a stepsister, and I have a younger sister,
Hmm.
and very different experiences, but no, from Gilmore Girls, everybody just says it's great, and it's funny because like they're in a small town, and they're dating, and she
They're
owns a
not in
business,
just a
right?
small town. They're in Stars Hollow.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay,
And
yeah, okay, you're welcome.
and you'd think when you're young, like, oh, this is what life's gonna be like. I can just have a
Or like
business and
small town like and everything like that.
exactly, and that's not quite.
I think it's funny when I go back to like my parents' home or like town that they live in that I kind of like grew up in, and like it's so funny to see all the people that never left. And like I'll go to like the local like spiritual shop and I'll run into
Mhm.
like my former friend like Heather, and she'll be like Ashlyn, and I'm like, "Ugh, who called me that?" I was like, hi Heather. I can see that you are once again here at the shop that I've been at since I was 15. Don't you want to go outside of like so and so town? I was like, you seemed really cool in high school. I was like, don't you want to like leave?
Yeah, it's weird coming back to my college town.
I don't mind the college
But
town. I went to
yeah,
Westchester. Westchester's dope.
yeah, that's kind of my thing, and like it's very different being in my college town, but with a lot of money and a car and working from home.
Hmm. And then you see like, oh, that's the street that like all like the parties were thrown on. That's where I tried this drug for the first time. That's where I met that lady. That's where I
Yeah,
ate soup off that guy's collarbone.
yeah.
I'm not projecting.
I had a really boring time in college because I was just too broke to be in college.
I graduated college at 19,
Oh my
and
god.
it really put off the guy that I was seeing at the time because he
Yeah.
was like in his early 20s and I couldn't go to the bar with them. And they were like drinking in a barn one night and he just looked over me like seething. And I'm like, yo, I was like, break up with me. I was like, I don't want to be here. And I hate your fucking band name.
I was gonna ask what the band name is, but I said be like doxing him or
Oh, it was
something.
called Thick with like multiple C's and K's, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then two of his band members tried to get me to go out with them once I turned 21. So 2 years later, they approached me after
Wow.
I'd already been like working and everything like that, and I was like, no.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
even
gross.
their merch dude fucking asked me out for dinner one night. Did I agree? Absolutely. Did he pay it? He did. He was quite the gentleman.
Well, he had all that merch money.
Oh, he did. He had all the merch money, and I think he was rocking like a fedora at the time. It was definitely like 2011,
That's
maybe like 2012, 2013 kind of thing. So it was the time for fedoras.
how did you even graduate college at 19? How did you just speed ran the classes?
I used my, well, first of all, my parents enrolled me in community college 2 weeks out of high school. I was 16 when I graduated high school because I have a summer birthday. So I was like just turning 17.
Oh,
And then I got most of my credits at Bucks County Community College,
mm-hmm.
which is a phenomenal community college, by the way. And I think that's why I love watching Community, is because I get like jazzed about like Bucks. Um, but it backs up to a state park. So like I would just like hang out at that state park for like most of the time, basically.
I've been
And
thinking
like
a lot
go to
about
like my
state parks and
philosophy class
stuff.
would be like outside, and like I had a poetry class, and I did like an acting class. Like I took like a fair few of like wacky, like kind of like shit that I knew like in high school I couldn't get away with kind of stuff. And I liked college so much more
Yeah.
because it was more customizable. But then when I went to Westchester, I transferred in as like a super sophomore or whatever. Like I was on my way basically like finishing up my junior year. And then my
Mm-hmm.
last semester of Westchester, I Hermione Grangered that shit so hard with the time turner. I did like 8 or 9 classes to the point where like most of my Russian classes, I had the same teacher, and I was like, hey, I was like, I did remote shit before a remote was even a fucking thing. I just stayed in my room basically, and I plowed through like classes basically that she would give me like assignments to do. And she's like, I know you can't physically be in class because you're in this class. She's like, just do the work and I'll give you credit, because she was also like my guidance counselor. I'd go over to her house like all the time. Like I'd hang out with her daughter and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Alice is the shit. I still talk to her maybe every 6 months and everything like that. We all get together from like my Russian class and we'll go out to dinner.
Oh,
So
that's really nice.
it's really cool. And it's really funny to see like where everyone's gone and everything like that. And like when you do like such like a niche language and everything like that, and you all stick with it and everything, it was really cool to go to like little like baby showers, and like it's nice to see how like people have like grown up and everything like that. I have one student friend who's like a dad of like 3 now, and I'm like, dude, like I don't know how you do that. Like that's crazy. And he's like a professional blackjack dealer. I'm like, that's so cool. He gets to wear like little puffs on his cuffs and things like that.
So you really just never
I'm
slowed
jazzed for him.
down,
Oh yeah.
because like,
I don't know how to.
yeah, it sounds like it. Because you've been going since at least since you were 17.
At the very least.
So that makes sense with
Maybe
like the 16
maybe
hour days
12,
and
'cause
everything.
that's when I started working.
When you're
Is
12.
I started getting a job when I was 12. I owned half the block of my neighborhood for babysitting. And
Oh, that
then
makes sense.
I really wanted to work, so I had to get
Mm-hmm.
one of those like little permit things like when I was 15 that like my mom had to sign kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing, like saying like, hey, like she can work kind of thing. But I think before that I had worked at like a grocery store. And then I remember when I got the job interview for the bookshop across the parking lot, and I was like, I flipped everyone off in the grocery store, basically told them how awful they were because like
Mm-hmm.
the deli people were like trying to harass me, and I was like 15 and a minor, and I was like, fuck all you, fuck you, fuck
Yeah.
you. I was like, fuck the cheese department and fuck this. I was like, I'm out kind of thing. I was
You
just
need those
literally going
moments sometimes.
across the parking lot basically to the bookshop. And it was great. I got advanced copies of like all kinds of books and things like that. I just sat there and read. It was like the height of like my goth phase, so like all my like cute little like frilly goth clothes, I like wore them across like the bookshop and everything like that. It was like really fun. I held like book meetings and things like that, cooking stuff. Like I really liked that job a lot.
It's like an ideal high school
um
job.
Oh my God, it was fantastic. And like nobody ever showed up in there too. So it was like great. It was like the only time people would go there were like my friends. It was phenomenal. We made no money. But
that
I
that's
still got paid, so it didn't matter.
that's like the dream is just to like have a bookstore on Main Street
I
and
have
like
enough books where I probably could be. And then there's this bookshop that I like to go to. I think she's closing down at the end of October, but it's all women run, and it's called the Spiral Bookcase. It's in
mhm,
Manayunk. It is a primarily like witch shop, more or less, and
mhm.
I think it's adorable. I really hope that she kind of opens back up somewhere else and kind of pops up. A lot of my favorite places I've noticed have just kind of like popped out of nothing and then like quickly disappeared like after COVID.
That happened to like
So
every small
she
business
also
that I
just like
know
she
of that
says she's
isn't well
tired. She can't
established.
just keep working it by herself and everything like that. And I'm just like my heart hurts for people like that.
Yeah, no, that's a fear. Like I remember that was a thing that hit me when I first started working. Is that I worked with some people that are like older,
Hmm.
and you just realize like, oh shit, there's people doing this in their 60s.
Yeah, it's just like um I was working with someone when I was bartending the other week who was like it was like a new hire and I was like she approached me and was like she's like can I ask how old you are and I told her and she's like well you don't look it and I was like thank you like I don't do this and this and this anymore and I look
Mm-hmm.
at her and I said may I ask your age since you were so boldly to ask mine like people just think that's okay to do
Yeah, that's crazy.
um and she told me and we were like 3 or 4 years apart and I was like oh okay
I
shit
I think that is a big factor. Is like just people who take care of themselves and people who don't.
it's that but I think it's also genetics and things like that and I
That's
think
definitely a
when
big
you are
factor.
a bartender and you're eyeing up the Hendrix and things like that, that I'll catch myself doing that every once in a while. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, "Oh, hey Ash, remember when you were like obsessed with that shit? That yeah, yeah. All right, go make the drink," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's just like having like that to like fall back on. I know a lot of bartenders that drink a lot and things like that. And then I have mostly of my bartender friends are been sober for 10 years and more kind of thing. So it's like you work with it, around it, and like with it and everything like that. And like I have friends that like they'll close and everything like that and then they'll go out with their coworkers and that's why I don't ever hang out with my coworkers or things like that because I'm not going out at 11 or 12 o'clock in the morning and things like that and drinking all freaking night and then sleeping from 5 to like 3 o'clock in the afternoon like I have like day jobs
Yeah. What's it?
so like
You
like
also
I don't
age
know
out of that
anyone
shit
who can do
too.
that.
Like I don't want to be getting drunk and partying all the time anymore. Like
No
it's
dude and like it always reminds me of that movie Waiting.
yeah,
And it's if you've seen that
I
movie, if you've
have.
ever worked a service industry job, holy shit, does that movie depict everything? It's a stacked cast too. It is a phenomenal cast. And Jason Lawn is in it, and Jason Lawn's never in anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen the film since I don't even think it was in high school. I think it was in, like middle school last time I saw that one.
I think came out in like 2008 or something like that. But at the
Okay, so I
time,
was probably in high school.
riveting. Yeah, I mean Dane Cook was still relevant.
I forgot. Yeah, he's in it. Andy Milonakis,
Yeah,
Justin
Ryan
Long,
Reynolds is in it.
and then
The
he
dude
blew
from
up.
he did,
Anna
yeah.
Faris is in it, I think.
She is. Yep. She's like one of the hotter waitresses. You have that one that's like really on edge. That's like me at work. I'm the one my
Yeah.
mom was like, shit, fuck behind. It's usually just because I'm the only one working the espresso maker and
Mhm.
people laugh at me because they're like, oh yeah, we're supposed to do like everything. I'm like, do you know how this fucking thing works? And they're like, no. I'm like, all right, so shut the fuck up and let me make coffee. They're very sensitive. It's like working on like a car engine and things like that. And each one is fucking
Yeah.
different. And like you need like to read the whole fucking manual and everything like that. The manual for that thing is like 75 pages long. It breaks all the fucking time. And it's like for anyone to just walk up to it. I noticed like I was off the schedule for like my usual like shifts or whatever for like a week or two. And then I noticed they put me right back on with like a note saying that you seem to be the only one besides Casey that can navigate this espresso maker. And I was like, yeah.
You're
I was
like an
like, maybe you should
espresso
hire
maker
more
engineer.
actual baristas. I love espresso, but I have one at the place that I live right now, and it has spoiled me completely. Do I still
I,
go out for coffee? Absolutely. But do I have more coffee at home? You bet.
yeah, I haven't had many espressos. I've stuck to black coffee most of the time simply because that's what they've had at work, and it's it's not like fattening like some like ridiculous Starbucks concoction or whatever, which
Hmm.
I do
The
like those,
coffee at my
but
work is awful, but and it's unfortunately it's the product I'm the most familiar with. It's La Colombe, and
mhm.
I was expecting a farm to table place to work with a more local roaster, given the fact that it's my hometown basically, at least in a PA sense, and there are so many fantastic roasters in that area, and like all local too, with like great products. And I was like, why aren't we working with a more localized bean,
Yeah,
basically? And my ethics were like severely dismissed like right away. And I'm like,
of
okay, I was like, we
course.
can be like this. I was like, but nobody the fuck up in Bumblefuck is gonna know what La Colombe is and that it is a based like Philly like brand. It's very clumped in the city and everything like that. It always tastes burnt. There's always notes of like caramel to everything. It just sucks, basically.
That's the thing. I've always had like shitty office coffee, and I was
It's
just
well,
like,
yeah, it's like you're on the way to shitty office coffee, but it's like
but it's at a
there's like
coffee
different
shop.
variations that are like okay, but it's like yeah, they're kind of expensive too. The
That's
beans and everything like that.
the
Like for a 5 pound bag, I think it's like $70.
the local one by where my family lives is, I think it's
Hmm.
called Jones Coffee, and I've always
Ooh,
felt that way about it. I was like, this just sucks.
yeah.
We used to have it at my
I
work,
had
and
the
then
shittiest cup of coffee last night, but also like a pretty good night. But that was my only trade-off was that the coffee was pretty shitty, but it was just so watery. And when it's almost
yeah,
translucent in the cup and everything like that, and you just
oh
look at it, you're
yeah,
just like, fuck my life. I was like, am I really about to do this?
that's when you know you're just an addict.
Yeah, you're mad at the world basically. You're gonna drink that like localized, like liquidy coffee.
Well, isn't that a thing? Like I love energy drinks, and I'm obsessed with those too. Just anything
Do you
caffeine,
have a
really.
favorite?
Uh, I think
Slash,
most
do you have a favorite Red Bull flavoring?
Red Bull. That's because they always switch them out,
They do. Like
so
I
that
didn't
makes
know
it a little
that
bit
until I
tough.
had to buy somebody Red Bull. And then they looked, well, I do really bad at like decision making. And I noticed that there was like thousands of flavors. And I was like, mm, it's gonna be tough. Just trying to do something nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's I think there's a cranberry one around Christmas.
Cranberry on Christmas.
It's something like that. Yeah.
I do.
It's
Cranberry is dope.
yeah. No, it's seasonal. So like it depends on the time of
Hmm.
year. Like the summer Red Bull variety, the blue one. I don't even know what the fuck it's called.
I think the blue might be blueberry, but I've never had these drinks before.
Hmm.
Um, I already feel like I have enough energy, or I'll always make like an espresso tonic, like with it merges my love for seltzer and
The,
espresso
the, the
basically.
thing for
And
me is
it,
I have like severe depression, so I just self
Mhm.
medicate with caffeine,
Oh, I never knew that.
and it's like not always is it like a
I
mood
probably
thing,
do
but an
that too.
energy thing. And like I like coffee a lot. Like drinking coffee is kind of a vibe. I don't know how else
It
to.
gets me through my 16-hour day pretty, but like also like I don't have time to eat. So like my first job, I'll be lucky if I can get my shift meal
Hmm.
when I can work those shifts. The end of the night and everything like that, maybe a student will bring in like some food for me, and I'll be like internally grateful.
Hmm.
I end up teaching like older women and everything like that, and they usually get really concerned about my eating habits all of a sudden, or we become like super like on good terms and like good rapport.
Hmm.
And she'll be like, "Honey, have you eaten yet?" And I was like, "Oh God, no." I was like, I have had water and coffee all day."
That's really sad. It's really
It
bad
is,
for you.
yeah. I have like no time to eat half the time, or like
Like,
I could meal prep, but like I spent my day off today doing like an interview and like getting like some jewelry changed out on my nose because like it got ripped out in a melee.
what,
And
you
then
got in a
like
fight?
before I know it, I was like I had to get grocery shopping and then I had to go home. It was like 5 o'clock.
Yeah. I always plan my meals just around like what I can make like quick,
Hmm.
and I just try to
I
do
love
that.
sandwiches. Like a
Sandwiches are
coffee and a
great.
sandwich is like my favorite thing. Something quick.
Yeah. No, especially with age, you just grow to appreciate a good sandwich.
Hmm.
But no, like it's really impressive you work and do all that. It's really,
There's been
but
times lately, more and more where I have to kind of take the morning off.
mm-hmm.
Um, just because I look back at my week basically and it's Friday and it's like, holy shit, you clocked in 72 hours in 4 days. Yeah, like all out of work.
Yeah, exactly. I had that this summer, like not that much, but like either
Like I
between
know there's gonna be a time where it just gets to be like I'm gonna be like, yeah, I can't do anything anymore.
that's what's hit me since this summer. Like I've
Yeah.
really taken a serious step back with work because
Hmm.
it was at a point where it was like I was on call was a big thing, like every other week for like a month or
Mm,
so, and
yeah.
being on call is worse than just working because you're like
I have
living
a
in
few like
fear.
software developer friends that are like on call for like certain amounts of time, and I just know that's the time that like if we do go out, they need to be like within 15 feet of a computer basically.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, that seems suspicious.
yeah. Well, it's a thing like for me, I don't mind it during the day. That's not a big
Hmm.
deal at all.
But like at night, it's weird.
That's when it's horrible because when you get woken up and you have to immediately, you're woken up by a ring. You got to pick up by the time it reaches voicemail, and you have to be
Hmm.
professional in like 10 seconds from dreaming.
Oh, I know, it's the worst.
And then you get nervous like, oh my god, what if I said fuck or something? What if what if I did
That happened
something?
to me the other day. I think I was around kids or something like that, and I just
Hmm.
dropped an F-bomb, but didn't even think about it. And I looked around and I was like, I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Last time I was around my family, I was it was when I was like
Hmm.
having withdrawals from the meds and
Oh,
just gone through a lot of stress at that time. And I it was my mom's birthday. I just like brought her gifts and a pizza and had everybody over, and it was just chaos. And I was just like fucking, that way, just being a
oh
grump.
yeah. Uh-huh.
And I hate when that happens.
Yeah, when you slip basically, or you think you're home.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I feel you on that. That's kind of sucky.
Well, I hate to cut this short, but I think I got to get to
No,
sleep. I
dude, you
am
can cut it.
fucking
I'm
beat.
ready for bed. I'm gonna throw on a
Yeah.
podcast and I'm gonna go night night.
Yeah, no, because I'm like almost, I'm not drifting off, but I'm definitely like at like 50% mental capacity right now.
I am what they call in the industry petering.
Yes, a good way to put it. So I'm going
So
to end the recording.
sounds good.